All right, guys. So we are back today. Oh, good morning, team. All right, guys. So we have McDonald's Caterpillar earnings this morning. Let me go ahead and share my screen. This is what we have up right now, but this is just from Friday. Nvidia, man, just going absolutely crazy. Nvidia all the way up to 680s almost, man. Microchips, just ridiculous movement here. Ridiculous movement. Microsoft, McDonald's, I mean, gapping up to 300s. Maybe they released their earnings early. Yeah, so McDonald's isn't out yet, I guess. We also have Caterpillar, CAT. Caterpillar dropped their numbers just now. They posted 528 EPS. They expected 476, so better than expected EPS for Caterpillar here. 17.1 billion in rev. They posted 17.1 billion. So they came in neutral for revenue. Beat EPS though for Caterpillar. Let's see what they're doing. So yeah, they just dropped up a little bit from this. Not really the biggest moves. We'll put this up on screen. But yeah, some people are saying they missed revenue. To me, it looked like they beat, but we'll put this number up on screen. Still waiting for McDonald's numbers to come out. Let me, We also had Powell speak yesterday. Now, I didn't stream it because I was worried about copyright, and so we just chose not to stream that. But Powell did speak yesterday. And so, what's up, Beach? What's up, Kevin, Mac, Yair? What's up, team? All right, so yeah, here's Caterpillar's numbers. They're out. Oh. Sorry, I want to take a sip of my coffee. I haven't had any coffee yet. Let me put some music on, too. All right, so here's Caterpillar. They were scheduled to drop it at 6:30. McDonald's scheduled for 7. We also have Tyson Foods, Estee Lauder, Bolero. Bolero is a public company. Who knew, man? All right. But yeah, Tesla at 185 still. Friday was just a crazy day, man. A lot of stuff broke like lifetime highs. Specifically, nvda did over and over again. All right, guys. Caterpillar not really reactive. We're still waiting for McDonald's earnings to go live. Morning, all. Hope you had a great weekend. What's up, Sam? Hey, thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're awake. All right, team. Need a poll? Yeah, I do one. Hold on, let me do. All right. All right, so look at Caterpillar break highs. Caterpillar all the way up to 325.30s. McDonald up to 300.6. Let me change that. I'm not really feeling this song. Unless there's some like better beat drop somewhere down the line, which it doesn't sound like there is. Nah. We're going to switch songs. So yeah, we're going to do a poll. Does the market pull back? Does the market pull back this week? Yes or no? All right, guys. Do you have any ideas of the possibility for Bitcoin becoming collateral in bank loans, replacing fractional reserve lending? I think that makes sense. Because of what your background is, I can't really put you up on screen. But I appreciate the $10, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I think with broad adoption in crypto, that's something that banks could certainly do. You know, of course, they're not going to give you 100% dollar-to-dollar collateral. I don't think that's ever going to happen. You know, so like dollar to dollar, I don't think that they are. They're not going to, like, okay, so if you need 50K in collateral, they're not going to give you 50K worth of Bitcoin. It's going to be slightly, you know, they might use like 1 Bitcoin to give you like 30K collateral or whatever it is, just to be protected in those situations. McDonald ripped up at 9 a.m. London time, placed an order last night. Yeah, McDonald's up to all the way up to 301s right now. 301s from McD's. Earnings aren't out with them yet. They're scheduled to release their earnings in about 15 minutes, so we still have some time. But yeah, I do think he said, do you have any idea of the possibility for Bitcoin becoming collateral on bank loans, replacing fractional reserve lending? I do think that's an idea, a possibility for banks. I don't know when they're going to use it, though. Interesting question, but Bitcoin is deemed an asset at this point, and a currency does not represent, or it does not experience halving. So in X years, Bitcoin should not exist. BlackBerry. Is that even a stock? I thought they went out of business. No? Oh, they are a stock. I mean, it looks like a terrible company. No offense. You know, this is just a company that... I mean, look at their long-term chart. It's just really, really rough. I mean, this is kind of what you expect whenever the iPhone gained. You know, like, just to give you the story of this stock here. BlackBerry used to be, like, the name of phones. You know, if you watch, like, my family's a big The Office. Like, the show The Office. How it was Steve Carell and Jim and Pam and all them from The Office. Yeah, so that's like what my family watches a lot. You can see it in The Office, where in like 2008, 2009, they all started getting BlackBerry phones. You know, like you could see BlackBerry was like at the peak of its game, super high up, super crazy high, at almost 150. And then basically the iPhone came out in like 08. When did the first iPhone, what is it, 06? '07. So the first iPhone came out here, and BlackBerry really only had about a year left, year and a half, 2 years left before it just dumped, because everybody realized how much better the iPhone was. And yeah. It's had a bad road since then, man. It's had a bad road since then. It's just a rough chart. It's a rough chart. It's never really bounced back from this either. You can see starting in the crash started in 08, you know, less than a year after the iPhone came out. And they've never really done anything else. You know what I mean? They've never really done anything else. The company's just been kind of long-term going down. Like, they might have squeezes and stuff like that, but I really don't know. I just think that they're in trouble. You know, I don't know anything about BlackBerry. I think it's kind of turned into a meme stock over the last few years. I might be wrong, though. You know, I might be wrong. Damn, another lost pick for me. But Raphael, why are you picking BlackBerry, bro? Like that's like me going out and betting on Blockbuster, dude. You know, like, I don't know what it is with certain people that don't want to pick like big blue chip companies like Microsoft, nvda, Apple, Amazon, Google, you know, Walmart, Target. You know what I mean? Like, pick a company that is still like doing things. Like, I get it, people want to be bottom feeders, and Raphael, I'm not picking on you, bro. Like, it's all good, it's all love. I get it. I've been wrong about a lot of stuff, so it's all good, dude. But like BlackBerry, dude, why would you buy that stock? It just seems to be something that obviously is obsolete now with the iPhone out, you know. And not even that, like, the iPhone's out, and then Samsung has basically been the competitor. It's not even like BlackBerry's the main competitor to iPhone now. It's Samsung is, and, you know, I don't know. Somebody tell me what BlackBerry does. I don't know. Okay, made big mistakes. Found your channel after I got in that stock. Okay, well, I mean, listen, it's all good, dude. It's all good. I think Nokia, same story. Yeah, I mean, I think Nokia's done a little bit more for like tech, but Nokia stock looks very similar. Just low volume, like barcoding, long-term downtrends. And again, I get it. Like, I understand, because I'm the same way, right? Like, what I did was I changed my mindset. Like, I'm a bottom-feeding dip buyer of an investor. That's my style. That's how I've always been, right? But when I bottom feed, I don't look for companies like BlackBerry or Nokia or terrible companies like Blockbuster, you know, just as an example, even though it's not publicly listed. I look for companies that are healthy, like healthy companies that are just down a lot, you know? So, like, I look at companies that are healthy, not companies that are just about to go bankrupt. Companies that are actually healthy that are down a lot, and so that would include Netflix when it dropped 20% on earnings, Amazon if it drops, Apple if it drops, Meta if it drops, healthy companies that are down big, those are the companies that I want to buy up more so than anything else. Yeah, but they were so hard to use, bro. I could never type on one. I never had one, to be honest. I never had one. A BlackBerry phone. Never had one. Caterpillar just surging up here. Surging up. nvda finally dipping down. Caterpillar up to 337s. I was holding Caterpillar, and I think I'm out of it already. Yeah, I'm out of it. I sold Caterpillar years ago, or not years ago, months ago, or weeks ago, I should say. I don't know when I sold it, but I got out a couple weeks ago. It was up a lot when I got out. Yeah, for sure, Beach, 100%, dude. Yeah, I'm a Samsung guy, phone-wise. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm out here typing in the background. Look at Caterpillar, though. Rip up. It's at 337. So McDonald's earnings drop in 7.5 minutes, team. 7.5 minutes. Let's see what we get. Yeah, like I have a Z Fold, right? And these phones are just freaking cool. Like this is like I don't know why I went towards Samsung. I really don't know why. I think like what happened. This is what happened. Okay, I was broke and my wife wasn't when I met her, right? Like when I met my wife, I was broke, she wasn't, right? So she always had like the newest iPhones and like the newest, coolest iPhones. And like I usually had a little flip phone. Back in like 2010, 2011, I had little flip phones that I would break. I had like 8 new numbers before I really got a smartphone. Back in like 2011, 2012, I had flip phones that were prepaid, and they were terrible phones, where you had to press like anywhere between 1 and 4 buttons to type a letter, like 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, whatever it is, like those type of phones. And I watched my wife, and I basically shared my wife's phone if I wanted to watch a video or something, for the first like 5 years of our relationship, because again, I was broke and she wasn't. And so eventually when I started making my own money, I don't know why I got a Galaxy at the time. I remember I got a Galaxy phone. It was like a Samsung Galaxy phone. I don't know why. I think maybe it was cheaper at the time is probably why I got it, because again, I was broke. And so I guess it was cheaper at the time. That's why I got it. I don't know. But I just never left. And I'm sure like one of the things these phone companies, they certainly have the statistics for, is I'm sure if somebody starts with the Samsung, they are going to stay with the Samsung. If somebody starts with an iPhone, they're going to stay with an iPhone, right? So like I think the number one name of the game in phones is customer acquisition, because I think once you pick up a customer, it is incredibly rare that those customers switch phone carriers. I think most of the time, or phone phone brands. I think most of the time, if they start with an iPhone, they're going to stay with an iPhone. If they start with a Samsung, they're going to stay with a Samsung. And I'm sure that's what influences their whole business model is you got to get people started with an iPhone. You know, get young people started with iPhones, right? And that's what my kids are. But this is a cool phone, bro. Like, listen, I have literally like a little mini iPad as a phone. Like, it's literally a mini iPad as a phone. People can hate or whatever, you know, but like this thing is cool. Like, this thing is cool. Like, it's literally a mini iPad. I could watch UFC fights when I want to watch the UFC event. When I'm like, hey, I want to watch UFC fights, and my wife is like, no, I don't want to watch UFC. I put this on, and I put it next to my bed, and I watch UFC fights from my bed, you know? It's actually really interesting and really great, you know? Enjoy it. I just upgraded after Christmas. Yeah, this is the Z Fold. I got an upgrade on it too. I've been paying for insurance for years on my Samsung phones, and I finally, in Michigan this past year, I dropped my first Z Fold. It was like a Z Fold 2 or something. Z Fold 1. It might have been the first Z Fold, I think, actually. And like I completely broke it. And so I used like one of those cheapo Samsung phones, which really weren't that bad. Those like $100 smartphones from Samsung. I used that for like months before I remembered I had it, or for like weeks before I remembered I had insurance. And then I finally just kind of, you know, remembered I had insurance, filed the claim. They sent me a new one. They sent me a new Z Fold within like a couple days. So, glad I paid for insurance. Anyways, nvda dipping down a little bit. Let's watch McDonald's here, guys. McDonald's dropping earnings very soon. Gapping up a little bit to $300+ a share, 301s now, but the volume's not there because earnings aren't actually out yet. So, earnings aren't out yet. Remember, we did have Powell speak here, guys. We did have Powell speak. We're going to talk about his comments. All right, so Powell talked about a couple different things. All right, so we're going to go over this transcript, okay? The Federal Reserve Chairman said, Scott Pelley of CBS, NBC, or CBS 60 Minutes said, I'll start with this. Is inflation dead? Question mark. Fed Powell says, quote, I wouldn't go so far as that. What I can say is that inflation has come down really over the past year and fairly sharply over the past 6 months. We're making good progress. The job is not done, and we're very much committed to making sure that we fully restore price stability for the benefit of the public. I feel like Powell says the same thing over and over again. We want to restore price stability. Inflation is still elevated, you know. Pelley says, but inflation has been falling steadily for 11 months. Powell says, right. You've avoided a recession. Why not cut the rates now? Powell said, we have a strong economy. Growth is going on at a solid pace. The labor market is strong, 3.7% unemployment, and inflation is coming down. With the economy strong like that, we feel like we can approach the question of when to begin to reduce interest rates carefully, Powell said. All right, guys, waiting for McD numbers to come out. Still don't see anything. They're scheduled to drop right in 30 seconds. And Powell continued, he said, and we want to see more evidence that inflation is moving sustainably down to 2%. We have some confidence in that. Our confidence is rising. We just want more confidence before we take the step of cutting interest rates. Basically, we want to see more good data. It's not that data aren't good. It's not that the data aren't good. It's that there's really 6 months of data. We just want to see more good data along those lines. It doesn't need to be better than that we've seen or even as good. It just needs to be good. And so we do expect to see that. And that's why almost every single person on the FOMC believes that it'll be appropriate for us to reduce interest rates this year. When? All right, so there goes McDonald's dipping down after earnings. So earnings are out for Mickey D's right now. So earnings are out for Mickey D's as we're reading this transcript from Powell yesterday. McDonald's is out. They gapped down and then they retraced back up to 300. All right, let me see if I can find some numbers here. Bro, I hate it. I hate it, dude. EPS was 11.56, an increase of 39%. Diluted earnings per share was 11.94. They expected, oh my gosh, I hate freaking, why can't companies, they know what people are looking for, bro. They know what people are looking for. Diluted EPS, or adjusted EPS came in at 295. They expected 282. McDonald's down to 296. Revenue at 6.4. They expected 6.45. Fiscal year EPS view. Yeah, so McDonald's numbers are out. Here's the McDonald's numbers. They missed revenue, beat EPS. That's something that we've seen a couple different times. McDonald's cracking down here on this earnings miss. Again, McDonald's, they posted 295 EPS. They expected 282 revenue of 6.4. They expected 6.45. So a miss in revenue here. I'm trying to find their guidance numbers. I still can't find it. All right, global comp sales 3.4%. They expected 4.8%. So again, I don't really like this report from McDonald's. They're missing some stuff here. We're gonna put the here. This is what I'm showing up on TOS. Yeah, you can kind of see it. That's what I'm showing up on TOS. McDonald's said, quote, our global comparable sales growth of 9% for the year is a testament to the tremendous dedication of the entire McDonald's system. President CEO Chris Kempczynski, he's continuing to quote him. He said, quote, strong execution of our accelerating the Arches strategy has driven over 30% comp sales growth since 2019 as our talented crew members and the industry's best franchisees and suppliers have demonstrated proven agility with a relentless focus on the customer. By evolving the way we work across the system, we remain confident in the resilience of our business amid macro challenges that will persist in 2024. End quote. That's McDonald's statement on their earnings. Basically, they don't think we're gonna have a good 2024. I think is what this is showing us. So this will be interesting. Maybe not. I don't freaking know. I haven't eaten McDonald's in years. I really haven't, bro. Like even breakfast. I used to eat breakfast with them. I still haven't even that. All right, guys. So again, Pelly says, when are we gonna cut rates? McDonald's cracking lows. McDonald's cracking lows, broke lows, or not really broken lows yet, but getting close. 292 is the low. But anyways, Pelly, the interviewer on 60 Minutes, asked Powell, he said, quote, when? Regarding rate cuts. Powell said, quote, well, that will depend on the data. You know, the best we can do is weigh the risk of moving too soon against the risk of moving too late and make that judgment in real time. So the time is coming. McDonald's just broke lows. I would say based on what we expect, the kind of things that would make us want to move sooner would be if we saw weakness in the labor market, if we saw inflation really persuasively coming down. The kind of thing that would make us want to move later would be if inflation were to be more persistent, for example. All right, 290s for McDonald's, 290s. And again, that's end quoting Powell. Pelly says, what's the danger of moving too soon? Question mark. Powell said, the danger of moving too soon is that the job's not quite done, and the really good readings we've had for the last 6 months somehow turned to not be a true indicator of where inflation is heading. We don't think that's the case, but the prudent thing to do is to just give it some time and see that data continue to confirm that inflation is moving down to the 2% in a sustainable way, end quote, Powell. Moving too soon would set off inflation again. You could, or you could just halt the progress. I think more likely if you move too soon, you'd see inflation settling out somewhere well above our 2% target. So we think that we can be careful in approaching this decision. All right, guys, so what this shows me regarding Powell, what this shows me specifically here, is that Powell and the Fed, in my opinion, are going to be much more likely to keep interest rates paused for the sustainable future. I think Powell is going to be much more likely to keep interest rates paused. I know a lot of people speculated that we might get rate cuts next 6 weeks, or, you know, in May, I think Powell might be a little bit less likely to cut rates as early as people expected based off of what he said on 60 Minutes. Now, maybe he's just talking here, but again, basically what he's saying is that, again, I'm gonna read this one part of what he said yesterday. He said moving too soon would set off inflation again. Pelly asked. Powell said you could, or you could just halt the progress, i.e., a pause in interest rate hikes. I think more likely if you move too soon, you'd see inflation settling out well above 2%. And so I think, all right, so anyways, Pelly asked, what's the danger of moving too late? Powell says, quote, if you move too late, then policy would be too tight, and that could easily weigh on economic activity in the labor market. Yeah, so basically, if you move too late, markets, you could crash the economy. Pelly says making a recession. Powell says right, and we have to balance those two risks. There is no easy, simple, obvious path. We have to balance the risks of moving too soon, which, as you mentioned, or too late, and there are different risks. We think the economy's in a good place. We think inflation is coming down. We just want to gain a little more confidence that it's coming down in a sustainable way towards our 2% goal. All right. So yeah, we'll keep reading this a little bit later, but yeah, that's interesting quotes here from Powell. What do you guys think? When should Powell cut rates, guys? Let me know in chat. When should Powell cut rates? We don't need more rate hikes. Powell cut rates between July and September. Yeah, we have Tyson next. We also have Tyson Foods at 7:30, Bolero at 7:30. Yeah, it's basically all the big boys today. We have Palantir this evening, and I'm torn on whether I should cover Palantir. And again, we'll see what happens here, team. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. There'll probably be rate cuts before election. Maybe. He is the only honest man in Gov. He will. Maybe. Watch Palantir break the internet today. Yeah, Palantir drops earnings this evening. Palantir up to 1750s right now. 1750s. Does Mark Z and Jeff Bezos selling off their shares signal something? I mean, it might. Powell wants to push inflation to 2%. If inflation is 2%, it's going to be a big bull. Yeah, I think inflation rate decreasing was bound to naturally happen with less money. Right, when they stopped QE without needing to raise rates, but I have no clue what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, I feel you, me too. Palantir meme stock? I don't know what you would want to call it. It's kind of an AI tech stock, meme stock. Kind of, yes. Nvidia just broke highs again. McDonald's all the way back up here, guys. Look at Nvidia, though. Nvidia got up to 681s right now. 681s. Craziness. Crazy. Nvidia going absolutely nuts this morning. Caterpillar earnings came out earlier this morning. McDonald's almost back up here. All right, team. McDonald's back up. Yeah, it's back up to 298.50s, basically where it was. Look at Nvidia break highs again. It's at 681.60s here. 681.60s. That's crazy. When will beginner trading earnings come out? I don't freaking know. Next decade, maybe. Crude oil. Where's crude at right now? Crude is at 71.80s, 71.80s. Out of context question, though, will tech jobs market rebound in 24 as their stocks have rebounded and are only going to go higher? Maybe. It depends on how AI affects everything. Yeah, so when is NVIDIA earnings? I forgot. I think it's the 22nd, so I still think we've got like a few weeks until NVIDIA earnings, which are arguably the biggest earnings day of the month. GameStop's March 6th, AMC, February 27th. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry. McDonald's still trying to get back over the 200 EMA volume-weighted previous closing price level. NVIDIA just broke highs again. It's at 68.12, 68.12. Craziness here. Man, what is driving NVIDIA? It's almost too high at this point in time. Like, the question is, when is this thing going to pull back some? You know, again, Palantir earnings this evening that we're probably going to stream. Yeah, NVIDIA absolutely nuts, man. craziness for NVIDIA. Just way too high, I think, of course, but hey. Yeah, I think $700 is a little bit too high. I think with this price, they're going to be splitting soon, too. I think NVIDIA is going to split as well. You know, but the crazy part about NVIDIA, guys, is that they started the year at $200, basically. They're at almost $7. They're up hundreds of percent, which is crazy, you know? Caterpillar's still up there. Tyson Foods. Oh, I'm in Tyson Foods too. That's nice. Is Tyson out yet? No, not yet. Hopefully they drop something good. Let me see. Tyson Foods expected to come out 7:30. All right, so we got 14 minutes. I'm in Tyson Foods right now. I hope they go up, man. Again, it's not a big position at all. So, like, even if they drop, it's not going to be, you know. Again, my average price in Tyson Foods is $51.17. $51.17 in Tyson Foods. So, even if they come in bad, I'm still probably going to be green in that position. So I'm still pretty excited about that Jerome Powell stream. It was the largest stream we ever got. Largest stream we ever got. Like, look at this. Look at these numbers. All right. Like, let me just show you some of these numbers, dude. And I checked the views. Like, the views are legit. You got some good numbers, man. Check this out. Look at this. Look at that stream right there. You'd love to see it. That's our largest stream ever. We actually got more views than this, right? So we got about 43,000 views total. NVIDIA breaking highs again. Up to almost 684s right now. 684s. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. But yeah, like, look. Analytics. I have to go back and find it a different way. But yeah. Kind of crazy team. All right, so McDonald's still up there. Let's see if NVIDIA slows down. Meta popped. Meta at 475s. Being that you primarily day trade, I don't primarily day trade. We day trade sometimes, but we certainly don't like live off of our trading profits and day trading. You know. I would love to claim to. My name is John. You must be talking to somebody else. Do you think January payroll numbers is credible enough? Some say it contradicts ADP non-farm data or intentionally biased by seasonal adjustment. I think a lot of the time, the ADP and non-farm employment change data is different than the payroll data on Friday. Like, I think most of the time, in fact, that I've watched it, the payroll, like okay, as an example, what you're probably referencing is that on Wednesday of last week, you had ADP non-farm employment change, which came in, I believe it came in high, didn't it? I'm trying to remember here. Let me look at last week. Yeah, last week, ADP employment came in low at 107 versus 150, and then payroll numbers came in high at 353 versus 185. Yeah, but that is pretty that's pretty common. Like, a lot of the time, non-farm employment change prelim payrolls comes in different than the actual payrolls. I see this happen a lot. I don't know why it happens, but I see it happen regularly. Um, yeah, so I don't know. You know, and then next week we got CPI team. This week's kind of slow. All right, we're still waiting for Tyson Foods at 7:30 in 10 minutes. Definitely top 3 YOLO traders in the world right now. John. Yeah, I don't know. Ask your CPA, brother. I really don't know. Like, I trade on funded accounts a lot of the time, and, you know, my TOS account, we do a little bit of everything. Like, my TOS account, we're holding like 30 positions or more usually. Yeah, so payroll numbers were much higher than expected. And the market didn't like it originally, but now the market kind of came down a little bit. Well, Caterpillar's up with their earnings. Here's the SPY today. So the SPY actually started to rebound based off of what Nvidia's doing. If we look at what the market did Friday, though, so here's Friday numbers. So the market did a complete 180. You know, payroll numbers came out here. They came in really low. Or no, they came in really high and they absolutely tanked the market, right? But what was interesting is that, like, they came in really high, they tanked the market, and then microchip just started churning up. SPY hit lifetime highs at 496. Yeah, so a lot of stuff broke lifetime highs Friday. So it's just a chaotic day where we had such big price action movement and everything that it was just chaotic. SPY finally up to 494s almost. Yeah, we'll probably stream Palantir. Q at 429, Apple moving Nvidia at 685. Yeah, Nvidia's the crazy one, to be honest here. Like, Nvidia's the crazy one. Meta is pretty much flat, but Meta hit 485 on Friday too, so Meta broke craziness as well. So a lot of stuff's just out there today. I don't know how to feel about this market, to be honest. I really don't know how to feel about it. Nvidia, yeah, no, I see Nvidia. Nvidia at 684s. This is what's dragging the market up right now. We also have Tyson Foods drop in about 5 minutes. Tyson Food drops theirs in about 5 minutes. We'll probably stream Palantir. Palantir's expected at, they're expected at 8-cent profit on 602.5 mil. Nothing else really big this week, I don't think, for earnings. Tomorrow we have Eli Lilly, Spotify, Hertz, Toyota, BP, Spirit Airlines. So no big tech stocks. Spotify maybe. Snapchat. Oh, we do have Snapchat tomorrow. I'm going to be busy this week, actually. We're going to stream Snapchat earnings tomorrow because we always do. We also have Ford and Face tomorrow as well, right? So we got some stuff tomorrow too, believe it or not. And then Wednesday morning we got Baba, Uber, CVS, Roblox. We have PayPal, Disney, and ARM Wednesday. But I'm not going to be able to stream Wednesday, unfortunately. I don't know if any of these are really big. I've had bad results trying to stream Disney and PayPal numbers that we just don't get that many people here watching it, in all honesty. Maybe ARM might have gotten some big views. But again, I'm not going to be able to stream Wednesday evening for something that we got going on here. ConocoPhillips, Spirit, Thursday. And then Affirm, Pinterest, Net, Expedia, Bill.com. Thursday evening, and then Friday we got Pepsi, Canopy Growth, AMC Networks, not the AMC that you know, but a different AMC. So they dropped too. Bro, I swear, ever since I started looking at watches, bro, all they show me, all these ads, like these, you know, the ads that like websites will give you, like all they show me is like Rolexes now. They think I'm like some big Rolex buyer. Like, look. Like, this is all they legit all they show me. These are Rolex Submariners is what these are. Like, look at these. These are nice watches too. I like the blue. This one's called the Bluesy. This one's pretty dope, man. I like that. This is the one I was gonna buy. This one, right? Actually, this one's too old. You can see the yellow date window. I don't like that. That means it's old. It means it's the 16613. I like the Pepsi. This is a $20,000 watch, just to put this into perspective. Like, this watch right here is $20K. This watch right here is like 20-something thousand as well. The all gold Submariner. Most of the time, gold Rolexes are actually worth less, and not that they're worth less. A lot of the time, they appreciate less, because I think with really wealthy people, they don't like gold as much. It's too gaudy almost. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not getting a Patek. You know, too much. Snap going down. Yeah, people have been telling me that for years. You know, my average price in Snapchat is $9.20 cents. Look at nvda break highs again, up to 685s right now. 685s. We got 2 minutes before Tyson Food drops. Again, 685s for nvda. 685s. But no, people have been telling me Snapchat was gonna go down for years, bro. For years. Snapchat, my average price is $9.20. It's at $17 a share. I'm up almost 100% in this trade. And so, again, it really goes to show people don't understand. You know, they just don't understand, you know. Snapchat's got hundreds of millions of daily active users. If you want to know why it didn't stay at $8 a share, it's got hundreds of millions of daily active users. And honestly, young people are using it more and more right now, too. And so, I think you got to... All right, here we go. Hertz pauses plan to buy EVs from Polestar this year after having bought 20,000 so far between 22 and 23. So I wonder if this is going to affect PSNY. All right, let's look at Tyson Foods. Polestar just had some bad news. Hertz ain't going to buy more from them, basically is what they said. Let's look at Tyson Foods here as well. All right, Tyson Foods here on the right side. I am in a little position on Tyson Foods. My average price is like 51 something though. Snap not going down for you, but it was above 35 at one point. I know. But again, I'm a bottom feeding dip buyer, but it has to be companies that are healthy enough, right? Like I talked about this earlier. There's a difference between like BlackBerry, where nobody uses them anymore, and Snapchat that has hundreds of millions of daily active users, right? So when Snapchat drops down to $7, $8, $9 a share, I bought it up. Again, I'll watch their earnings calls. All right, here we go. Tyson Food up to almost $59 a share. $59 a share. I am in Tyson Food right now. All right, so here's Tyson. All right, so Tyson posted adjusted EPS of 69 cents, down 19% year over year. They ended up expecting 42 cents, so better than expected here. They posted sales. That can't be right. I'm showing 13.32 billion. Expected 17 billion. No, that can't be right. I'm showing 13.36 billion expected. What were their actual earnings? Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. So they posted a miss on revenue. They posted 13.32 billion in rev sales versus 13.36 billion expected. So they're gapping up a little bit, but it's not a huge move, in all honesty, for Tyson. But not a bad gap up here. We'll take it. Green is good. I'll take it. But yeah, again, they posted EPS of 69 cents. Revenue of 13.32 billion. I'll put this up on screen. All right, so here's Tyson Foods. Here's Tyson Foods. All right, guys. Hey, so SPY still trying to hold. Look at NVIDIA up there, though. Okay, so I'm going to show you the difference between Peloton and Snapchat, right? In terms of revenue, right? Which is potential they have for their business, like how much money they're bringing in. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so, first thing is that if we look at Snapchat's revenue, all right, this is the easiest way to put it for me. If we look at Snapchat's revenue, their revenue is at a nice graph. Like, this is a nice looking graph, okay? Like, their revenue has been going up. You look at their trailing, their revenue has been increasing, all right? Now, when we pull up the same chart, but for Peloton, very noticeable declines in everything. And so this right here is a terrible sign for Peloton. A terrible sign. And I think people are stopping using them as much, right? I think you're seeing a lot of people not use Peloton as much anymore. I think that there's a big difference between a company that has some of their exercise bikes in gyms and somebody that has hundreds of millions of daily active users, right? A social media company. I just like Snapchat more, versus relative to the price I entered it at, right? Like Peloton, if we put up a long-term chart for Peloton, that has to do with it as well. Peloton started the year off at $16.37. It's at $4.24. Snapchat currently started the year off at $10. It's at 17 now, 17. Hit lows of 780s. And so, I don't know. I just like Snapchat more. But maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know. It's just, I like it more. Even if you put up the 2020 charts to look more like Peloton's, Snapchat has gone up since 2020 in revenue. Snapchat has had increased revenue. You do the same thing for Peloton. It's a much different chart, brother. A much different chart, man. And again, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, Peloton, terrible company. Snapchat, I think, I think people, for whatever reason, people just hate specific companies. And I don't hate any company, including Peloton. But their revenue certainly looks worse than Snapchat's in terms of trends. Their revenue trends certainly look worse than Snapchat since 2020 over the last 4 or 5 years. I think you have to look at it in terms of psychology with this type of stuff, right? You really do. Like, in my opinion, you got to look at it like in a psychological light and understand like trends. Okay, so Snapchat, there was a couple years period where it didn't look that great, right? Like, I'm gonna be honest, there were a couple year periods when it didn't look that great. Again, I've got a 14-year-old, and I've got a 14-year-old who has a bunch of friends that use social media, right? And they are consistently talking about Snapchat. They always talk about Snapchat. They like Snapchat. Snapchat has gotten a resurgence of interest in people. Like more people have been using Snapchat. Hundreds of millions of daily active users, and I picked it up at a value price. Right? And it's a small trade. It's not like it's a monstrous trade or anything like that, because again, I just don't trust that enough either to take some huge position. But the argument of the trade still remains, which is that it's cheap, it's at a discount, it's got hundreds of millions of daily active users, and I think the trends in terms of social media there are changing. Where if you look at the trends for like Peloton, it's a different story. I think Peloton's trending down. I think less people are using them. I think Peloton was a big company in 2020 when the pandemic happened, and understandably so, because people didn't have anything to do, right? And so what did they start doing? They started using virtual reality bicycles to kill their boredom. But I think that was kind of a gimmick. And I think over time, less people are going to care about Peloton, and the price is probably going to continue to drop because they're overpriced. You're paying a premium. You're paying $4,000 for a VR bicycle. I just can't justify that in my head, right? And I've got the money to buy a $4,000 VR bicycle if I wanted, but there ain't no way I'm about to buy a $4,000 bicycle. And so I think you got to put the same logic into like the stock and say, hey, is this stock going to be all right? I don't trust it. I think there's a reason it's down so much. Yeah, Corey remembers. I've been putting out the same argument for Peloton, against Peloton for years. The argument goes, Peloton made their virtual reality bicycle, but when a company makes too much money too quickly, they start investing it into dumb stuff. Peloton started making virtual reality rowing machines. Nobody wants a virtual reality rowing machine. Imagine the consumer base of a VR rowing machine. It's got to be super small. Super small. Maybe they're selling it to gyms. I don't freaking know, man. But again, to me, it sounds like a company made too much money too quickly, and now they really want to grow, but they don't really have anything that they can grow, right? That's going to really change the game. And so they start investing money into VR rowing machines. And I don't think anybody really wants a VR rowing machine. I think it's going to be bad margins for gyms too. It's going to be too expensive. Nobody's going to want to use it. When I go to the gym, it's kind of like Bowflex. When I go to the gym, I'm using mostly free weights anyway. Like, I might warm up with the machines or whatever it is. I go to the gym, I'm mostly using free weights. I'll run on a treadmill, though, But again, the other thing that's getting Peloton is competition. Look at NVIDIA breaking highs again. NVIDIA just broke highs again up to 686.20s. 686.20s here for NVIDIA, up to 686.50s now. Now remember, this isn't technically the lifetime high until it hits open. Until it hit market open. That's when it's technically the lifetime high. We're not there yet, I think. Yeah, I famously did a poll on Twitter years ago, and I said, would you rather have a virtual reality bicycle or an actual bicycle? Everybody overwhelmingly picked the actual bicycle, So, oof, dude. Dude, it's weird, bro. It's weird. Dude, it's weird. It's weird, dude. Okay. Just to put this into perspective, I don't use Snapchat. I don't use them. I don't use Snapchat. Like, I'm sorry, but an app that literally makes messages disappear to hide them from others, I don't want that app. I don't need that app. I'm married. I got married with kids, Like, what am I going to need an app that disappears messages, But that's off. That's off, dude. That's off. Would you buy Peloton and hold for a buyout? Nah. I'm not saying it's not going to work. That might work. I don't know. Could work. I don't know. I'm just not interested in buying it. I just don't like the trends of the company over the last 4 years. Like I showed you guys, like, look, here's Snapchat. We use it under the lens of Snapchat, right? Same dates and everything. All right, so here's Snapchat since 2020, right? Nice upward graphs, right? Here is Peloton since 2020. Weak graphs for sure. And so downward moving, downward trending, drying up revenue. Just not an optimistic sign for a company. Again, I think they got too big too fast. You know, it's a recipe for failure for a company, getting too big too quickly. The company wants to hold on to that success. They want to hold on to it. And it's just hard for them to. And so they end up making bad decisions and wasting money. And then that makes revenue go down, or that makes everything go down. I don't know. 61 profit on pound US dollar. Always news that Apple should buy it to expand their fitness services. Yeah, I don't know. EBITDA is good to check for investing in a company. Yeah, EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization is what EBITDA stands for. It's pronounced EBITDA, the abbreviation EBITDA. It's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. It's a good like net money, like or it's a good ceiling gauge, I should say. You could save messages, man. It's more just an instant messaging app. The C only wants them to lead a secondary to the Smooth platform. I feel you, Will. But again, we already got messaging apps, brother. You know what I mean? So like, we don't need more. You know. Like again, I'm not gonna use it. I get why. Again, it's just it was after my time, right? Like just to give you a gauge on how old I am. Right, when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet. The internet wasn't really a thing until I was like a kid, right? Well, when I was like 10, the internet was like starting to get big, right? And I remember like AOL chat rooms and all that stuff. I then moved on to, that's when I started playing video games. I used to have like Sega. I had a Sega Saturn. I had a Virtual Boy. I had a Game Boy. I used to play the Pokemon games on the Game Boy, right? But when I was like 10, the internet started to get big. When I was like 10, it was using a dial-up modem, so you couldn't use the internet if somebody was on the phone, right? If somebody's on the phone, it would disconnect you from the internet. If they just picked up the phone, right? You're on the internet, living life, you know, doing whatever you're doing, probably sitting in the AOL chat rooms acting dumb, right? I'm on the internet, living life. If my mom just picks up the phone, internet's cutting off. Like, you can't stop it. Pickups the phone. They could pick it up and hang it up immediately. You're about to get kicked off the internet. And so, anyways, we started with social media with MySpace, right? And MySpace was a cutthroat era in social media. You had to pick your top 7 friends. And listen, there was a democracy going on there. It was cutthroat, you know. I remember I had friends that were in my top 7 that didn't have me in their top 7. You know, how dare them? You know what I mean? Just drama going on MySpace. I remember, but it also started, it was like basic coding. It wasn't real code. Like, it didn't really teach you how to code. It taught you how to HTML and CSS, right? So that's actually where I learned how to HTML and CSS stuff, was on MySpace, right? And then eventually, you know, you had that right around 2007, 2008. Everybody started gravitating towards Facebook, right? So everybody had MySpace. You know, Tom was everybody's friend. And then everybody moved from MySpace to Facebook around 2007, 2008, right? And so eventually I did as well. You moved to Facebook, and basically people my age have basically stayed on Facebook. Eventually Instagram got big in like 2010 or 2011, and then people moved to Instagram. And anyway, Snapchat came out after all that stuff. And so Snapchat was just after my time, right? By the time Snapchat came out, I was an adult, and I was married basically. You know, so like, yeah, I just never, my wife and I never had a use for Snapchat. Yeah, I used to have my music, all that stuff playing in the background. It was fun. Tom, what's his name? Yeah, we're old, Edward. 100%, dude. We are old, bro. I was not born in the late 70s, dude. I'm not that old, brother. Late 70s. Dang, dude. How dare you, you know? Late 70s. You think I'm 40-something, bro? Oh, it hurts, man. It hurts, dude. Man, shots fired. Dagger to my heart right there. Anyways. But yeah, Tyson Food up to 59. nvda at 684s. No, I'm in my early to mid 30s. Yeah, Tom did all right, bro. Tom eventually sold MySpace. Tom eventually sold MySpace to AOL, I believe. I can't remember who Tom sold MySpace to, but Tom made about $500 million from selling MySpace. So Tom's living life somewhere, drinking margaritas on the beach. You know, he doesn't care about us right now. You know, he abandoned us, really. He's living life. But yeah. No, you're good, Mario. I'm just messing with you, brother. I'm just messing with you, man. Was it Disney? No, definitely not Justin Timberlake. Yeah, definitely not Justin Timberlake. JT said being called older might be a compliment, thinking that you're more mature than your age. It's definitely not that. You know, I think everybody here knows that I'm certainly not the most mature person in the world. Definitely top 3 though. But yeah, I think MySpace was better than Facebook. MySpace had less infrastructure than Facebook, right? So MySpace was more customizable, but harder to navigate through. You know, so like MySpace, you had to, if you wanted to customize your profile, you had to kind of mint, like, it wasn't real code, but you had to CSS, you had to center stuff, and if you got it wrong, your page is just looking weird. And so, but you could play music in the background, all that good stuff, ahead of its time. But Facebook was more clean, easy to navigate in, I should say, and yeah. Anyways, look at Tyson Foods breaking highs. I'm in Tyson Foods right now as well, so I'm you know, this is great for me. And remember, today we got Peloton, and tomorrow we have Snapchat and a couple other ones. Or not Peloton, Palantir, I'm sorry. Yeah, again, mine was like that. Mine, when I would load the page, and I was so dumb at the time, dude. I had, like, dumb stuff in the background. MySpace for me, bro, was like, I was a skateboarder. So my MySpace page was like skateboard, gangster. I can't remember what it was. It was dumb, for sure. But somehow, yeah, never mind. It was dumb. Somehow, the ladies in my life liked it at the time. I don't know how. Hey, nice, Edward. Hey, look, Tyson Food up to almost $60 a share. Again, NVIDIA still doing crazy stuff, but finally starting to dip down. You can see the SPY following NVIDIA back down a little bit. We also have Tesla still. Tesla fell a little bit. It's at 186s or so. Oh, they definitely secretly judged me from my MySpace profile for sure. MP, 100%, dude. Like, they definitely judged me at least a little bit for it. It wasn't that big of a turnoff, though. I had an okay time with the ladies in my earlier years. You know what I mean? It must not have been that bad, but in hindsight, it was really bad. You know. Did you meet your wife on MySpace? No. I met my current wife, or my only wife, I should say. My current wife. I don't know why I labeled it that. I met her through mutual friends. In like 2009, I think is when I met my wife, in like 2009. Yeah, definitely top 3. I'm not saying I was that much of a ladies' man. I certainly wasn't. I was super awkward and shy as a guy. Like in my early teens, I was super awkward and shy. Somehow it worked though. I think what happened, and my other friend was telling me about this not too long ago. Like I went and met up with my friends in Baton Rouge a couple months ago, and she was telling me, she was like, yeah, and Carol was there. So Carol was there. We were kind of talking about how I was. She said that, and what she said was true. She said that John was just shy and quiet, and it was because he was shy. But like some of the girls at the time thought I had options. I guess they just thought I had options and that I was like mysterious. But really, I was just shy and nervous and didn't say anything. But again, somehow it worked. I don't know how. Definitely top 3 shyest kids in the world back then for sure. Do you think Tesla should be removed from the Mag 7? I don't know. I know it lost some weight in the big exchanges. And again, I'm not even claiming to be like, somehow I was able to meet some women, but like, yeah, was just super shy. Tesla at 186 though. So Tesla, it's had a tough couple months. If we put up like a 30-minute chart for Tesla, that's when it's really looking rough. Look at Tesla here. You put up a 30-minute chart. That's a rough chart. Was that 217s? You put up a 20-day chart, it's looking even more rough. Was that 240s? So Tesla just having a tough time. Yeah, definitely top 3 wives in the world right now, for sure. Dang, dude. Do you think Tesla should be removed? I don't know. It's amazing. When they're making robots, 30K cars, and you'll be glad you own it. I will anyhow. Yeah, maybe, bro. What a disrespectful comment. I mean, listen, I wonder how, like, again, I wonder how insecure you got to be to, like, go to a random person's stream and just start, like, talking smack about their spouse. Like, dude, how insecure you got to be? These are people that are just genuinely unhappy. I pity you, bro. Like I said, man. I mean, I'm used to it right now. This is the internet, but it's still kind of crazy how like people don't recognize that acting that way shows so much insecurity on their part. You know what I mean? Like happy people don't go around acting like that, And so if somebody's going around acting like that, they just got to be deeply unhappy. Cheers to you, bro. I need to get rich before I hit 40. Yeah. Amazon keeps going up. Yeah, Amazon honestly is one of those stocks that everybody thought was overpriced. People thought Amazon was overpriced. Again, I'm in Tyson right now. It's still heading up. But Amazon was at, if we look at a yearly chart, Amazon was at $88 back at the beginning of last year. $88. Super low. It's now at 170s. Tech stocks and tech in general have moved to such a crazy level. Like most of them are overextended. Depressed souls. The internet can be a weird place. Yeah, like it's weird when you try to think about who acts like that. Like I don't know if it's people that are just kind of struggling with what they got going on in life. Maybe seeing me on the internet makes them big mad. I don't know. It's just weird. Will I be deeply unhappy if I keep my long on nvda? I don't know, bro. Nvidia's up a lot. Nvidia is up a lot right now, So again, I don't know. I'm nervous to buy Nvidia up here. So again, Nvidia up to almost $700. That's a crazy gain. Mm. I'm also looking at Amazon here. So the thing with Amazon is that it's super extended too up there. I like Palantir long term. Yeah, we'll probably get a stream Palantir earnings. I enjoy the energy here. Took a break for months, but I really like this morning group. Hey, thank you, James. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks so much. Worth a call on NVIDIA? I don't know. I think it depends, man. Thoughts on Boeing? I'm in Boeing right now. I bought the dip, and Boeing ended up mostly bouncing back, and I took profit, and so we're holding a tiny piece of Boeing right now, but it's very small. I don't know what it's going to do either. We're basically flat on the day. Friday was a crazy green day. Yeah, we got ISM Services PMI at 10 a.m. this morning. So again, we got ISM Services PMI late this morning. A lot of guys be mad about having a girl nowadays because young men nowadays are virgins. And so, yeah. I mean, I think people are just mad, man. I think, like, I see it a lot of people I grew up with. Like, you know, a lot of people I grew up with. And it's always the ones that, like, talk the biggest game that end up just not doing much. Like, a lot of the people that I knew growing up were talking about how good and successful they were going to be or whatever. And most of them are not doing anything. Like, most of them have struggled and, like, you know, the ones that talk the biggest game are usually the ones that are the least happy, you know, as they got older. And like I said, like, I've disliked people, you know, like, I've disliked different channels and different groups. I've never disliked somebody enough to drive me to go comment on their posts. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not, again, I think that just shows a lot of deep issues, you know. But again, Powell spoke. I'm actually green in my equities portfolio for the first time today. Thanks partly to Tyson Foods. We're in Tyson Foods right now. My average price in Tyson Foods is, again, it's like 51. It's almost up to 59. Q up to 429.30s. So the Q just went green on the day as well. I'm trying to see what other tech stock is moving up. You can see the Q moving. Apple is very green today too, so Apple running up. Apple, I know Microsoft, yeah, so Apple's breaking highs right now. That could be it. Tyson's already out with their numbers. They tried to, Alice. We banned them before they could really get it out, you know. The good thing is that we can spot them pretty quick and ban them and get them out of here, you know. Are you a day trader or a swing trader? I'm both. I like a little bit of everything. People are super creative when it comes to hurting others. I learned that very early in life. Yeah, you notice, like, misery loves company. It's what I teach my daughter. Like, I teach my daughter this a lot when people are mean to her at school. You know? And what I teach her is that, like, when you're young, you don't really recognize it. But, like, the people who take their time to be the meanest to you, like the people who go out of their way to just be cruel and mean to you, usually have deep-rooted, like, home problems, right? Like, they have deep-rooted home problems. Like, they got stuff going on. You know, they're reflecting how their life is, you know. And so you don't have to be super mean back. You just pity them and you tell them that. You just say, "Look, man, I feel bad for you." And usually that makes them self-aware enough to stop, but sometimes it doesn't, you know what I mean? And even if it doesn't, you got to just kind of be okay with it and understand.
they probably have a much harder life than you, and that's where it comes from. Yeah, success is the best revenge, 100%. What about Spirit Airlines? Yeah, so SAVE, S-A-V-E, drops earnings tomorrow. Or did SAVE drop earnings today? Was it today that they dropped? Let me see. No. So SAVE is tomorrow. Right? Am I wrong here? Where's SAVE? I'm looking for SAVE. Where was it today? All right, so Tyson Food up after Hillshire Farm parent beats profit estimates for its latest quarter. SAVE. Okay, yeah, so SAVE isn't out yet. Again, Powell said a lot of stuff regarding rate cuts today. SAVE drops earnings February 8th. So SAVE drops on Thursday. Yeah, so SAVE drops on Thursday. What's the difference between swing and day trading? Swing trading is holding overnight plus. Day trading is buying and selling same day. So, all right. I'm about to take this sweater off. It is warm in here right now. Let me see if I should swap my headphones out. I guess we shouldn't. All right, guys. So, I used to live. Yeah, for sure. I really do think that, like, for whatever reason, life balances out, I think if you put good stuff out there, you're going to get good stuff back. I think if you put bad stuff out there, you're going to get bad stuff back, right? I think the people who have the least amount of self-control, put a lot of bad stuff out there, and then their life sucks, and they get mad about it, or whatever it is. And so, I don't know. I think balance is real. I want to pay Eli Lilly earnings tomorrow morning. Looking for a nice breakout. Jerome said cutting middle of the year. Hopefully interview is well received. Yeah, so again, we could talk about Powell. So Pelly asked, what is your best forecast for inflation right now? Powell said, quote, I think the base case, the main expectation I would have is that inflation will continue to move down in the first 6 months of this year in 2024, we expect. So we look at inflation over a 12-month basis. That's our target. In the first 5 months of last year were fairly high readings. They are going to fall out of the 12-month window and be replaced by lower readings. So I do expect that you will see the 12-month inflation reading coming down over the course of this year. We've seen inflation pressures subsiding really for a couple of reasons. One is the reversal, the unwinding of these unusual pandemic-related distortions to both to supply and demand. The other is our tightening of policy, which is absolutely essential in getting. It's part of the story for why inflation's coming down, not the whole story by far. So then the interviewer asks, inflation is one thing, prices are another, and I wonder if there's any reason to believe that people will see the prices of things decline. Powell said, quote, so the prices of some things will decline, others will go up. We don't expect to see a decline in the overall price level. That doesn't tend to happen in economies except in very negative circumstances. What you will see, though, is inflation coming down. All right, so just to give some context into what Powell meant by that comment, right? So again, understanding inflation is key, right? The natural state of markets is that inflation is going to go up over time, right? It's an inevitable thing. It's an inevitability, to quote Thanos. Inflation's going to go up over time, right? Now, what the Fed is trying to do with these rate hikes, what they're trying to do is they're trying to slow the rise of inflation, right? Because prices are very rarely going to come down, like Powell said here, unless in super kind of black swan scenarios. Those are usually the only events in which prices are going to come down like that. What the Fed's actually trying to do is make prices slow, right? Just to understand, like, economics in this way, they're trying to slow prices. And so, again, to continue with what Powell says, Powell said, quote, people are experiencing high prices. If you think about the basic necessity, things like, bread, milk, and eggs, and various kinds, if you look back, prices are substantially higher than they were before the pandemic. And so we think that's a big reason why people have been relatively dissatisfied with what otherwise is a pretty good economy. But and Pelly says, the interviewer says, quote, but those prices will not soften short of something like a recession. Powell says some of them will, in particular things that are affected by commodity prices. For example, gas has gas prices have come way down. Some food prices that incorporate the price of commodity grains and things like that, those can come down. But the overall price level doesn't come down. It will fluctuate, and some goods and services will go up, others will go down. Overall, in aggregate, these price levels don't tend to go down except in fairly extreme circumstances. So, yeah. That's basically what Powell said. Jerome said cutting middle of the year. Yeah, we'll see if he cuts in the middle of the year. I hope he does. I have Boeing long term. I'm in Boeing. I bought the dip. Karma. Bro, what you literally said is what I told myself last night. Hey. You're taking it too far. You got to understand that the statement before you add things that doesn't add up to the battle. Oh. Hey, y'all. What's up? Staying away from the little mean guys always worked. Yeah, I mean, again, you become resilient to it as time goes on. I think some people just don't have much to lose, right? And I think I think over time, life unfolds as it should, you know, to a certain degree. I mean, you always have pain, you always have suffering. But yeah. Nvidia crazy put. I don't know about buying puts in Nvidia. I don't know. I think there's risks. I'm not usually about shorting the healthiest companies in the world. You know, Powell said some pretty optimistic signs. All right, so here's what Powell said regarding the next. Oh, dude, get out of the way. All right, so here's what Powell said regarding the next FOMC meeting, right? So the next FOMC meeting, Powell said, quote, "The time is coming. We've seen that. We've said that we want to be more confident that inflation is moving down to 2%. And I would say, and I did say yesterday, that I think it's not likely that this committee will reach that level of confidence in time for the March meeting, which is in 7 weeks." 7 weeks? It's in about 6 weeks now. So I would say that's not the most likely or base case. However, all but a couple of our participants do believe it would be appropriate for us to begin to dial back the restrictive stance by cutting rates this year. And so it is certainly the base case that we will do that. We're trying to pick the right time given the overall context, end quote. And again, so Powell, not likely that we're going to cut rates next month in March. Not very likely. But they are going to cut this year is essentially what he said. So services PMI data drops at 10 o'clock Eastern time, Jarrett. Hey, totally not related to trading, but if you were stuck in life and you had to start over again, what would you do career-wise at your age? At my age? I think there's one career path that a lot of middle-aged people gravitate towards, and actually if they work hard enough at it, can find some success as a complete career pivot middle-aged, and that is real estate. A real estate agent, real estate broker. I think that's specifically a career that you could work corporate life your whole life, and then, you know, at age 40 pivot to becoming a real estate agent. And I think that is, you know, that's the move. You know, if you're struggling at life, you know, and it's something that, you know, you're gonna have to work hard at. It's not something that is very easy, I would say, to get customers. Like, you gotta get customers yourself. But I think there's ways to do it, you know. But again, that's just me. Yeah, what's very strange, Jesse, is that when I go to the page of the guy I banned, What's very strange is like, here, hold on, let me look at this again. What's very weird, see you can kind of see the troll's angle sometimes too. But as an example, right? Like, see, but what's very strange, Jesse, is that if I go to okay, so let me give you an example. So the guy I banned, right? What's very weird, and again, maybe this is just a coincidence, but let me show you this. All right, so I go to the guy I banned that was basically saying insulting things about my wife, right? I go to his channel, and he is subscribed to this guy right here, Jesse Peterson, right? Which is a very small YouTube channel, less than 4K. Right? And then shortly after I ban him, all right, follow with me here, follow with me. Shortly after I ban him, now that very small YouTube channel is on saying, quote, I wish you would stay on a little bit longer after the open and wouldn't let people distract you with their comments and stick to business. So another, like, arguably critical comment. Is that a coincidence? Or are the trolls playing both sides here, you know, where they're saying something to throw me off and then getting another account being critical of me responding to it? I don't know. Explain to me that coincidence, team, you know? You know what I mean? Again, maybe I'm just looking too much into it. The internet's a weird place. That's all I'm saying. Again, Tyson Food at almost $60 here, though. That's what's doing me right. I'm probably going to take at least a couple shares off. I'm up so much already that I kind of have to. All right, so we just took a quarter, a little bit less than a quarter. I'm looking to start trade. Any suggestions? My suggestion to you, Klaus, is to take it very slow, take it very small, move very slow with trading, right? Most people are going to lose day trading. So if you put up $1,000 in the beginning, you're probably going to lose that $1,000 in the beginning, right? And so I think in that regard, you know, you want to take it very slow. Understand you're probably going to lose the beginning of your trading journey, right? So if you put up $1,000, you're probably going to lose that 1K. And so have reasonable expectations for it. Most day traders lose. And so just trade very small in the beginning. Paper trade as much as you can. Try to get a decent sample size of profitable trades first. And that takes time, right? That takes time. Treasury bonds are getting cooked in pre-market. Are they really? Let me look at a 10-year. I don't know. These aren't really open yet. We got to wait for them to open. Yeah, practice with paper first, 100%. You have to. It's what's important. Yeah, I mean, people, like, listen, guys. I'm hanging out here. I sit here for 4 hours a day streaming. It gives me something to talk about, you know? If not, I'm going to just be quiet half the time. I'd rather talk about stuff. And again, that's kind of one of the things, like, I'd rather talk about it and just give and not have less dead air than stay quiet and you know, all that good stuff. So this is kind of like a podcast in that way. And so whatever gives me something to talk about, I'll talk about, you know. The other option is, like, what I did do for a while is I played poker in the background, and that just caused huge periods of quiet. Like, I would sit in the background and play poker. So I'm reading this guy. Cognitive bias is a systemic error in thinking that ruins decision making. One of the 7 powerful cognitive biases I've found. Definitely top 3 most biased trader ever right now, team. But yeah, there's bonds. Bonds aren't open yet on TOS. Here's the SPY. Let me know what tech stocks are running up to. SPY at 494s. Again, Apple very strong. Apple at 187.20s. So Apple's moving. First one is the paradox of speed. In Formula One, it's not the engines, tires, or suspension that lets you fly around the track. It's the brakes. Strong, reliable brakes enable speed and fearless turns. Integrate brakes into your life for accelerated success. Non sequitur. The conclusion doesn't logically follow from the evidence. The presented evidence offers little to no actual support for the argument. Charles ate fish for dinner and is well spoken, therefore he must be a banker. Failure paradox. Fail more, succeed more. Our biggest growth comes from our biggest failures. Embrace failure. Fail smart and fast, never repeating the same mistakes. Step into the arena always. I agree with that one. They say the average person fails, like 6 times in a business before they succeed in one. Absolutely true. Like, before I started this YouTube channel, I started a number of different websites, pages, all that different stuff, right? What the difference, though, like what sparked the difference in this YouTube channel versus other ones that I created prior to it was that this YouTube channel was about, number one, something that I was truly passionate about, which is trading and investing in economics and the stock market. The other one was that I got in at the right time. I got in really early before people started streaming like that. You know what I mean? So we got in early. We got it at the right time. And I think it's saturated now. Anybody that tries to get it now, I think it's pretty saturated. Yeah, all good, Jesse. It's all good, dude. Yeah, all good, Jesse. No worries, man. nvda, another upgrade today. Yeah, nvda going crazy at 661s. You know what's crazy though right now? Look at, okay, I don't know if this is a bad sign. Look at this. All right, look at this. I don't know if anybody has posted about this yet. I probably should. Nvidia's lifetime high now is the number is the number that should not be said. Anybody weirded out by that, team? That's strange, no? Look at that lifetime high level. Well, it depends on how you look at it, Yair. So just to put it into perspective, right? Like, we've broken that number this morning in pre-market, but it's not going to register as the lifetime high until after the opening bell. So this is technically not the lifetime high because it happened in low liquidity pre-market. So if we open up at the current price, this level will be the new lifetime high. It's not the lifetime high until it's during actual market hours, right? So we're still in pre-market now. That's the reason we're still not the lifetime high. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out one of my sponsors. One of my sponsors is a company called Top Step. It's a futures day trading platform. And the futures market is where most pro day traders should trade, because there's no PDT in futures. You can day trade, short, buy market, all that good stuff. No PDT rule. In the patterns in futures, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, currencies, gold, and silver. The patterns are very similar to blue chip stocks. I use the same day trading patterns in blue chips that I use on futures, but there's no PDT rule. So you can day trade short. It gets you exposure to it. These funded account programs, with what I said earlier in mind, that most day traders lose money, Top Step's funded account program makes perfect sense, because, again, what they do is they give you a demo and they test your skill. They give you a profit target, a max loss that you have to hit in that demo account. If you could pass that test, the base one, they give you a 50K demo account. It's only $49. If you can make 3K in profit without losing 2K and following their rules, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K in profit, free funding coaches, tons of great resources. And again, this is a company that pays out millions in actual withdrawals every year. They fund thousands of traders a year. So again, they've been around for over a decade. And the top one, that's just the base one. The top one's only $150. If you pass that one, you get 150K in funding, again, with a 90% split. Again, very cheap, less than $150. Just useful, in my opinion. And again, most people are going to lose because most day traders lose in the beginning. It doesn't matter whether they're on this or TOS. Most day traders lose. So you might as well limit your risk in the beginning. You still have some pressure, learn how to trade, but you're not risking thousands of dollars like you would if you put the money up yourself, right? Of course, they are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased in their favor because they pay me money and they're a sponsor of mine. I'm always very transparent and honest about that. But again, if you want to check them out, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. And yeah, check them out. There's a link. Yeah, do y'all think nvda is going to split pretty soon? I think they're up to almost $700. Typically with blue chips, when stocks get this high, that's kind of what happens, is they start to split. All right, guys. So, is it time to buy nvda right here? I think we got to look at the Q. There's the Q. Q all the way under 428.80s. 428.80s. Maybe go to 800 and do 4 to 1 so they're back. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think getting up to around 8, whenever they do, if they do, that's a big if, man. That's still pretty high up relative to where we are now. So we'll see. Do I pay for extra viewers? No, of course not. I mean, I just don't need to, you know? Like, again, YouTube's gotten so sophisticated at that's kind of like, that's something that people that don't really know how to run a channel do. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not getting enough views, paying for them is not going to do anything. It's just going to be a waste of time. You know what I mean? If you're not getting enough views, you're not making content that people want to see. You know, that's the easiest way to look at it. You know, so generally, people that don't get enough views, there's something wrong with their editing, with their thumbnails. Like, thumbnails have a lot of influence over how many views you get. And so it really just depends on what you're doing, but that's the biggest mistake most people make, is that they try one thing, it doesn't work, and they get really stubborn doing the same thing over and over again. That's clearly not working, right? So if you're doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working, you got to pivot to something else. You can't just keep doing the same thing. You know, Einstein's definition of insanity is continuously trying the same thing, expecting a different result. Look at the Q, just broke down. What dropped pretty fast here? Something big cap related dropped big. It's not Tesla. Tesla's down, but it's not that much. Apple's pulling back some as well. Maybe it's that. Microsoft down a little bit. Meta. Okay, so I see Meta, Tesla, and Apple all pulling back over the last 10 or 20 minutes. nvda trying to bounce though, so let's see if the Q bounces back up. Anything else? Like, here's Tesla. Again, Tesla sitting right at 185.50. No, I don't mess with penny stocks anymore, Travis. I don't, like, most of them are going to fail. And so I just think that the edge is so low for me trading penny stocks that I just don't do it. Like, I think a very important thought concept to pay attention to is follow big money, right? I think a very important concept, I guess I should say, is follow what the big money does. One thing that big money is very consistent, one thing that is very true across the board with big money is that they don't invest in penny stocks, brother. They don't invest, they don't day trade penny stocks. And so, I think it's a market that catches a lot of new traders that don't know what they're doing, and the new traders will invest and do all this nonsense in penny stocks. But I think if you look at big money, almost none of them invest in penny stocks. Virtually nobody with big money invests in penny stocks. So you got to watch what other big hedge funds, other big firms are doing. Again, none of them are playing penny stocks, and there's a reason for that. Is because the edge is so low, it's just not worth it. And so once I started building this account high enough, I got out of penny stocks and I started covering economics, which is more true to who I am as a person anyway. Like, we haven't really covered penny stocks in years because, again, I'm just not much of a penny stock trader. I'm mostly a long-term investor, economics guy, And I'm not judging you. Maybe there's some people that can make money in penny stocks. It's not me, We said it was crazy in 385, then we pushed to 500, now 600, soon 700. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Again, I'm not betting against it. Big money has big money, so 1 to 3% is acceptable. I know, Travis, but what I'm trying to say is this, okay? The problem with penny stocks is that they mostly push sensationalized marketing. Like, it doesn't matter whether you trade penny stocks or whether you buy the S&P 500. Trying to make more than 1% a day, or even 1% a day, is obscenely high in terms of percentages, right? The best investors, the best traders in the world make 30% a year. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's penny stocks or the S&P 500. You're not going to have an easier time making big money in penny stocks. Like, you have to worry about T1 halts and volatility pauses and stocks getting delisted randomly or getting halted and never resuming. You have to think about pump and dumps. Like, there's so much stuff, there's so much risk trading penny stocks that there's virtually no edge, in my opinion, doing it. And almost all traders that do it fail. People make most of the money selling courses and sensationalizing that market with fancy housing, like fancy cars. Like, they put out a bunch of luxury stuff. It's kind of like the drop shipping sector, right? People act like you could just get rich in drop shipping. Look at their house, look at their car, right? Most of the time they're renting the car, they're renting the house, and they're using that to sell you a course, and they're making their money selling you that course, right? That's what's going on in penny stocks. Again, I'm not saying there's not some traders that can make money, but it's just mostly pandering to gamblers who are in tough financial situations, is what it is. I would feel bad if the market starts to pull a dump. Yeah. SMCI, Supermicro Semiconductors. Yeah, man. It had a great earnings call, right? It's up to almost $600. Yeah, Supermicro is up there. It hit 606's Friday. What a crazy chart. Look at Supermicro's chart. What a crazy chart. Look at a weekly chart. Talking about penny stocks. This looks like a penny stock, man. Look at the weekly chart. Crazy. Look at a daily chart here too on Super Micro. Just so freaking high, it's ridiculous. Like, look, over $600 a share. Tyson Foods had good earnings. I'm in it right now. I think it's pulling back some. No, it's still up there. I mean, we took some profit off of it this morning. I'll take a little bit more, actually. Yeah, we just got out. Our average price is still 51s. But at the moment, we just ride the bull trend. I've never gotten the urge to touch penny stocks. Not going to start now. Not my kind of trade. I find scalping NASDAQ less risky. 100%, yeah. There's some interesting penny stocks, for example. Yeah, I feel you, Thomas. And again, I'm not, maybe, like, look, the problem, brother, is that I think there's more edge finding mid-cap stocks that are doing stuff. I think the marketing is so sensationalized with penny stocks, Thomas, right? So, like, the investors, or I should say, the insiders in the company pump up these stocks so much. They make you think it's the next Amazon. They give you FOMO. They make you think that it's some wildly successful technology that is somehow going to change the name or change the sector of the industry they're in. The issue is that very rarely it actually is. And most of the time, they're just kind of putting out some sensationalized marketing and seeing how persuasive they can be to talk young, naive, small account traders into spending their small amount of money on these terrible, super risky gambling penny stocks. And again, some traders just eat it up. They say, oh, well, this is going to change the game. Like, listen, I've heard so many people call out so many different penny stocks over the last few years. Virtually none of the penny stocks people have called out have succeeded. Virtually none of them. And again, y'all are welcome to list some. And if y'all list some that I've heard before and that are actually successful now, I'm all ears. But I haven't really seen any of the big penny stocks that everybody pushed succeed. Most of them failed. You know, MMAT, you know, CEI, SOS. SOS maybe, I don't know. But there's just so many penny stocks that people pushed acting like they were just going to be the future of technology or the future of whatever sector they were in. And almost all of them are nothing. Like, either they got delisted, they got kicked out back to pink sheets. They are just, most of them are terrible companies that either are delisted completely and went full bankrupt, or they just are sitting at like half a cent price. But with this earnings season, I feel like any earnings beat, we seem to see the stock explode higher. Maybe, yeah. Yeah. There's always an impending buyout with them. Yeah, I mean, biotechs are the riskiest because biotech companies can be a thriving company, and then they have trial results that just destroy the stock randomly. So in a 30-second period, the stock drops huge percentages and just destroys investors. They also have a big reward, though, if the bio drug is good, but trying to pick which one is going to succeed is very hard. Yeah, I never really heard CMPS. You know, and again, I mean, look, if this is your example of a company, like, look, here's a weekly chart, brother. How is that an argument for success? That's the long-term chart, brother. Not for me, man. You know, this is my point, exactly. ATAI, maybe. I've never heard of these companies, though. But, yeah, I mean, here's ATI's chart, long-term. I don't know if those are the best arguments, but, you know, thus is my point. Oh, no, all good. All good. Pawn, I didn't even see it. Let me see. Who?
Who's Rufus?
The basketball player? For what?
Securities and wire fraud. Conversion solutions. This was... Yeah, I don't know who this is. Again, people get weird, guys. Like, listen, I put this disclaimer up 1,000 times. And again, the reason people ask me, hey, John, why do you keep putting that disclaimer up, bro? I don't get it. I'm not trying to get sued. Listen, I have no idea what I'm talking about, right? So, again, I put this disclaimer up. And if somebody does some dumb stuff in the stock market, they can't blame me. Remember, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say, team. Just remember this. Guys, always remember this. I have no idea what I'm talking about. You know, I put that disclaimer up. Nobody can say anything to me. Gold? Gold at 2030s. Gold's pulled back a lot. You know, gold's still dipping down a little bit right now. Here's gold. Gold all the way down to 2034s. 2034s. All right, guys, so we are breaking down a little bit of gold here. Let me look at the NASDAQ. Here's the NASDAQ. At about 17.7K. So the NASDAQ, Tesla, Tech, all dipping down a little bit. Let's see what NVIDIA does, though. NVIDIA is a little bit different here. NVIDIA pulling back to that volume-weighted average price, 200 EMA. All right, guys, so we are starting to flush down. All right, I might get ready to trade some here. Alright, team, let me check this. NVIDIA, wow. Yeah, NVIDIA, guys, still at 681s. Boss man got a noisy keyboard. A noisy keyboard. Bro, top 3 noisiest ones in the world. Yeah, we saw Powell. We've been talking about Powell's comments and all that good stuff later on. We got a source for... Alright, looking back up on the comments. Yeah, there's no water running Toyota car, Harry. It just, even if they had the technology, it wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. You know, again, even if they had the tech, they would not allow it. What I mean by that is, like, bro, big oil is never about to let that happen. You know, they famously had a car that ran on fry oil years ago. The reason you don't see anything like that is because they would never allow that. Big oil runs the world, guys. Like, y'all have to understand that nuance first. You want to know why there's so many people talking smack about EVs? It's because big oil runs the freaking world. Hey, what's up, Shepard? Yeah, my weekend was pretty good. Again, here's the NASDAQ and middle Q on the right side. Again, NASDAQ up there. I'm surprised more people aren't saying stuff about NVIDIA here. How's the crypto market doing? Where's Bitcoin at right now?
Again, Bitcoin at 43.8 thousand, 43.8K. Again, remember, we got services PMI today, guys. Services PMI. Powell spoke. Yeah, is it a concept car? Hash, is it a concept car? All right, team. Yes, the failure paradox, the flaw of naive realism. We humans have an inflated view of ourselves. We claim to see the world objectively without a hint of bias. Oh, dude, I'm top 3 most biased trader in the world. They must not know. Again, the Q bounced it up again. It's at 428.70s. NVIDIA right at that volume-weighted average price level. This is typically like a pretty big bounce level. We claim to see the world objectively without a hint of bias, and when someone disagrees, we label them ignorant or uninformed. This flawed thinking fuels countless societal issues. Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading. This guy made a post about cognitive bias. You know, cognitive bias, just a fancy way of bias, like thinking bias, like flaws in our thinking. The flaw of, yeah, we see that one. Personal incredulity. When you can't wrap your head around something, it's tempting to dismiss it as false, but hold on, complex subjects demand effort to comprehend, so don't use your lack of understanding as an excuse to discredit a valid claim. Oh, 100% of something. You fear something you don't understand, right? AI is one of those things that you see this a lot with, specifically personal incredulity. Yeah, you see this a lot with, again, you see this a lot with AI, you see this a lot with EVs, you see this a lot with everything. The fallacy. Don't assume a claim is false just because a fallacy was used to argue it. Poor arguments don't automatically invalidate the claim. All right, NASDAQ bouncing back up a little bit. Again, the question is, does NVIDIA bounce here? Like, here's the volume-weighted average price, 200 EMA level. The question is, does it bounce here? I don't know. Walmart share split. I don't know anymore. I traded NVIDIA, but it's not following its moving average touches like it used to, for instance. Yeah, nothing works all the time. Trading is very much a game in which, like, strategy systems, patterns change, right? It's one of the reasons I've been super critical of, like, penny stock gurus who made a bunch of money in the early 2000s based off of one very obscure, very nuanced trading system and strategy. Right? And now, modern age, they're trying to sell courses to consumers based around the strategy they used in 2002. It's like, dude, that doesn't work anymore. None of that works anymore, right? So, like, that is not what you want to do. Stuff changes constantly in markets, and your job as an investor and a trader is to pick up on what works still versus what doesn't work. And a lot of that stuff that people used to make money in penny stocks with just doesn't work anymore. Services means services businesses, right? Like what classifies as a services business? Let's look it up. All right, so again, let's look this up. So services PMI data. In order to get economic insights, Purchasing Manager Index PMI provides an indicator based on surveys of businesses. Services PMI provides a stock market indicator of whether the current economy is healthy or not. Generally translate to higher corporate profits. In bond markets, they do not prefer rapid growth and are extremely sensitive if the economy is causing potential inflation pressures. PMI data are also used to Reserve Bank of India to help make interest rate decisions. Yeah, but that's not telling me. All right, guys. Okay, so it tracks sales, employment, inventories, prices. I think this isn't it. All right, let's see if we can find services PMI. Yeah, so services sector. I'm trying to find a good reading of the services sector. I'm sure the chat probably has answered it already. All right, so here we go. Services, employment, production, new orders, prices, inventories in the services sector. I know I can think of some like food, trade, transportation, utilities, information, financial, business, and professional services, education, health, leisure, hospitality, government, all services sectors. Yeah, I mean, listen, no offense. We're not going to promote like other random people here. It's too hard for me to gauge who it is. And too often what you get a lot of the time is you get people behind those channels coming to other people's streams and acting like they're organic comments, pushing and pumping their channels, right? And so because of that, like that's just not something that we're going to promote or push. It's too hard for me to vet. Most of the time, if you go to those channels and you look at their actual content, they struggle. But sometimes not. I don't know. PMI stands for the Purchasing Managers Index. Higher PMI means sector growth. Lower PMI means sector weakness. Above 50 means expanding sector. Below 50 technically means contracting sector, right? So with the services sector, again, a bunch of businesses. Higher means a growing, expanding sector. Technically, they're expecting today, if we look at this report, the services PMI data drops this morning. So technically, if we're expecting today, services PMI, technically ISM is expected at 52. So a slight expanding sector. All right, guys. So again, we do have we did have Jerome Powell speak a bunch here regarding rate hikes. Yeah, we did have Powell speak a bunch regarding rate hikes.
All right, look at NVIDIA bounce directly back up here. So NVIDIA did rip all the way back up. All right, so non-manufacturing, data live. Get rid of this. Let's see. Again, ISM services PMI coming out live soon. Yeah, what a crazy day, honestly. He's just one of the... Yeah, all good, Henry. It's all good, brother. Like I said, I'm not against it, man. Regardless of who it is, dude, it really is something in which, like, again, you got to understand, for me, I get people here a lot that, sorry, kind of wiping the sleet out of my eyes a little bit. Yeah, so look at the Q dump here, team. Look at NVIDIA fall. So, but yeah, dude, I see a lot of people come in here, dude. And again, like, people misunderstand how to grow a YouTube channel. To grow a YouTube channel, number one, you got to be early in whatever sector it is, right? You got to get early. Number one. Number two is the way you grow is that you don't go to other people's streams and like promote your channel. You don't go to another big time YouTuber and in the comments say, hey, have anybody checked out ABC Trading? They're the greatest, right? But a lot of people think you do. And that's just not how you grow. That's just going to burn bridges. And so I get a lot of people, and I'm not saying that to you. I don't think that's actually you, right? But I get a lot of people that go and do that in people's streams. And again, it just ends up rubbing the YouTuber the wrong way because it kind of just seems dishonest. And I certainly get that. You'll get, like, I'll see it a lot where I'll get somebody come here and they'll be like, hey, ABC Trading is just the greatest ever. You know, they're so great. I go look at it. They're live streaming. They got like one person watching. They've got like one person watching. They've got like one video out that has like 2 views on it. And so like they're just desperate to get views and they don't know what to do. But again, and so it kind of hurts the legitimate people trying to call out legitimate channels or whatever it is. But just as a blanket rule, I just have to be safe and not allow people to push other people that I can't vet. Yeah, dude, beginner trading's the goat. Yeah. Because there's too many scammers too, is what it is. I'm wondering, will people take profit on Meta as well? Yeah, let's look at Meta here. Meta's testing lows. I mean, Meta's up so much. It hit 481s Friday. Friday was a ridiculous day for tech, man. Tech stocks went absolutely crazy Friday. At least they know their ABCs. Yeah. Yeah, you see it a lot. It's really very common. So you just learn, when you run a channel, you just kind of learn to be on the watch for it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude, get out of here, bro. Great earnings for Meta, no? Yeah, Meta had killer earnings. It ultimately boosted the entire tech sector, is what it was. So yeah, Meta just had crazy good earnings, man. Yeah, Meta just had crazy good earnings. Shorting Tesla this year is an easy decision. I don't know, man. I'm not brave enough to short Tesla. You know, I'm really just not brave enough to.
Like Tesla, again, Tesla moves too crazy for me to short it. I'm in Tesla right now, so I wanted to go up, number one, right? But I'm not brave enough to short it. I'm green in my overall positions, but I'm just not brave enough to short it, you know. I don't know, Kenny. No idea, bro. Is Meta not high right now? Meta is crazy high. Look at this. Look at a 10-day chart. So this is from earnings. So Meta dropped earnings. The middle chart is Meta. Meta dropped earnings a couple days ago and had a crazy good reaction. Crazy good reaction. The Q all the way back up as well. There's a video on the left side. So again, we'll see if it holds or what happens here, but. And again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step funded account programs. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can pass the test, they fund you. If you don't pass the test, you only lose what you pay for the challenge, guys, which is very, very useful. Again, if you put up $2K yourself day trading and you want to day trade stocks, you're probably going to lose that entire $2,000, right? If you put up $2,000 in futures, you're probably going to lose that $2,000. In the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, currencies, gold, silver. The patterns are so similar to trading blue chip stocks. There's just no PDT restrictions. These funded account programs limit your risk substantially in the beginning to where if you're a good trader and you can potentially pass the testing, you can get funding between 50 to 150K. If you're new, you're going to lose noticeably less, most likely at least, than you would putting the money up yourself. Although I can't guarantee anything. They're a sponsor of mine, but I genuinely think it's a great way to learn, and Top Step's the most legit one in the world. They've been around for over a decade. You can check out the link right here. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased, of course, but you can check them out. Meta also announced the dividend, which also helps boost, I'm sure. Yeah, the dividend on Meta helps. And Meta actually is not a super high PE company, I don't think. Like, let me look at the PE ratio. I looked at this Friday. All right, so Meta, let's add about 530 is what came in for Meta's last EPS. 533 plus. We're adding Meta's last 4 quarters of EPS up. 439 plus 298. Look at the. People say, oh, these companies aren't trending well. Like, look at the EPS trends. 298, 220. All right, so 14, almost 15 is the yearly EPS. 15 almost, 1490. All right, so 1490. So we're going to do 473. We'll call it 473 divided by 14. Oops, divided by 14.9. That gives Meta a PE ratio of about 31, 32. 32 PE, not bad, guys. So again, in terms of like value, now again, there's a couple nuances to this that you want to understand. The first one is that they specifically just recently did a divvy, right? They just recently did a dividend. All right. That's number one. So that does influence their PE a little bit, but relatively low PE, all things considered. Relatively low PE, all things considered. So there's no time limit, Davey, on it. It has to be a minimum of 2 days, but there's no maximum time limit, I don't think. I would check with them though to be sure. Hey, later, James. Have a great day, bro. How long do you have? I mean, there's no maximum time, Davey, I don't think. Again, I would check with them first. Do you know that the job data is only so good because it concerns half-time jobs and full-time jobs have become less? More and more people in the U.S. can't living good with only one job. For sure, I understand that nuance of it in which, look at Meta starting to break over these levels. I understand the nuance of that. Like, again, I talked about this last week, right? But again, So more jobs isn't always necessarily meaning a good economy, right? Like there's a constant battle between like the economy and inflation. You know, the stronger the economy, the worse inflation is. The weaker the economy, the better inflation is, right? And so there's this constant battle. But what a lot of people have stated, which is certainly true, is that what a lot of people have stated is, look, it is a situation in which the market understands that like more people are working partly because inflation is so high, and so it's kind of like the snowball domino like effect where more people work because they have to work because prices are super high, and so more people work means more people spending, and then what happens because more people are working and spending, prices go up, right? So it's this terrible cycle of inflation. That's what the Fed's trying to discourage right now. That's why the Fed's trying to push down the labor market. But again, it's certainly a very nuanced situation. And again, Powell spoke on CNBC or on CBS's 60 Minutes, and he basically said that what I gathered from what Powell said, Powell's comments on CBS, right? What I think he said was that I think they're going to keep pausing a longer period. I think they're going to continue to pause a little bit more than expected. I don't think they're going to cut rates as early as everybody expected. And again, we can look at the poll numbers here. So we can look at the poll numbers. And so, again, we can see the March meeting. Again, this is pivoted very much to most people expecting a pause still, another pause, right? I don't think we're going to cut rates soon. I think it's going to be at least a couple cycles of FOMC before we start cutting rates. And again, I might be wrong here. Let me know what you guys think. Here's May, right? So May is when most people think we're going to cut, or yeah, we're going to start cutting 25 basis points in May. I don't know, guys. Let me know. Let me know. What do you guys think? PMI news drops at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. We got 50 minutes. I'll put a timer up if it helps. But again, PMI news drops at 10 a.m. All right, here's my timer. All right, let's put a timer up. All right, so we got about 52 minutes until 10 a.m. So this is what we got in terms of economic reports here, team. So here's Meta, here's the Q on the right. This is what we have in terms of economic reports, right? Number one, we have regular services PMI at 945. Regular services PMI, 945. And then ISM services. Technically, it's labeled, it used to be services. It's now labeled ISM, non-manufacturing. But it's services PMI. That's what non-manufacturing means, is services. Basically means everything else besides manufacturing, right? So that drops at 945 for the base case one, services PMI for January. Expectations are right around 53, 52.9 is what we see. We also have global composite PMI for January at 52.3 expected. And then the ISM PMI data is expected at 52 for services PMI, ISM services PMI at 10 a.m., 52. So again, we got one at 945, one at 10. The big boy is at 10, but we'll cover both of them, of course, like we do. Hey, all good, Davey. No worries, bro. Maybe in May. Again, but that's a good poll number here. Based off of what Powell said, that's a good poll number. We got about 700 votes. Let's do another poll here. Again, great option. When will Powell cut rates? When will Powell and the FOMC decide to cut rates? Let's do March, May. Where's my FOMC watch tool? All right, so we got March, we got May, we've got June, and then we've got July plus. So again, we got, just to give you some perspective, this happens every 6 weeks. The next one's March 20th. The next one after that's May 1st. The next one after that is June 12th. The next one after that is July 31st. The next one after that is September 18th. So again, we got March, May, June, July, September, November, December. Let's do this poll. Let me know what you guys think. When will Powell cut rates? I don't know. All right, let me make sure my music is playing. All right, guys. Hey, we got 20 minutes until the open. A little bit less than 20. All right, so the music stopped here. Let me fix this music here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here it is. I'm gonna put my music up. And again, I miss my old songs. Epidemic Sound did this dumb thing where I guess it probably saves data, but they pushed it all the way back to where, like, if you want to go to your old list, you have to keep hitting view more, view more, view more. All right. Inflation's still out of control. Let me look at the poll numbers here. So short term on the poll here, we got July plus is what most people are expecting, which is interesting for sure. Interesting for sure. Nvidia started to move back up, almost at 683s right now. 683s. The Q bouncing back up a little bit. Where's Tyson at? We're holding Tyson Foods. Tesla testing 184s. Tyson's still up a lot. We took some profit off. Is today a strong crypto day? I don't know. Is it? Bitcoin at 43.8K, 43.8 thousand. Nvidia at 661s. I miss the old songs too. I just listen to JP. 100%, dude. I listen to JP a lot. People get so weird. Like, I'll basically repeat what JP says, and people will call me dumb, and they'll say I don't know what I'm talking about. And then that's what happens. JP, in fact, is very balanced. He's very balanced. He very rarely goes outside of what's expected. Yet, again, every freaking FOMC meeting, you got all these people that are making these wild contrarian predictions. And they're almost always wrong. And then they get mad at everybody else when they're wrong. It's this super weird thing. Like, pay attention to what Powell says. He's very, again, he might change his tone meeting to meeting. He might change his plan meeting to meeting. But short term, Powell is very consistent. What I mean by that is if Powell says something in one FOMC meeting, he usually is picking that unless the data changes, right? You just got to watch the data, I think. All right, so looking at the poll, most people think July here. Very strange. Again, most people think July. I don't know. All right, guys. So, All right, guys, 683s here. NVIDIA at 472.20s. Q at 478.70s. Most people say July plus. You don't know it's July. I mean, I think it's possible for it to be July, though. Like, again, okay, so again, when we read Powell's comments, right, if we ended up reading Powell's comments about everything, right, we ended up reading Powell's comments regarding the economy and everything like that. Again, so what Powell said that March certainly isn't the base case. Again, quoting him, quote, so I would say that's not the most likely or base case regarding a March rate cut. However, all but a couple of our participants do believe it will be appropriate for us to begin to dial back the restrictive stance by cutting rates this year. And so it is certainly the base case that we will in fact do that, meaning cutting rates this year. We're just trying to pick the right time given the overall context of it. Yeah, I'm trying to see if they say anything else regarding the time frame of it. Yeah, looking at this. Yeah, so he's talking about the labor shortage. Yeah, I'm reading this. I don't see much else about the cut. Basically, what Powell said during this CBS interview yesterday was a couple things. Number one, it's certainly the base case that the FOMC Fed is going to cut rates this year, most likely, right? They do not think it's going to be in March. They think it's going to be after March, and we don't know when, right? I don't know if I believe it's going to be in July. I think it could be in June, or I think it could be in May potentially as well. I don't think it's a guarantee, though. I don't think it's a for sure. I don't think it's a certainty. I think that it most likely is going to be, I think it most likely is going to be sometime after March, sometime between March and July is my guess. But again, I don't really know 100% for sure. Nobody does, and I'm just kind of guessing here. I see a lot of posts about 3 rate cuts, but I don't remember him saying that. Where's the number 3 coming from? I don't know. December. I don't think it's going to be in December. It'll be earlier than that. I think it's going to be May. Most likely May, or I think it could be May. It could be June. But who knows, man? Again, I certainly don't. So rapper Killer My Gut was arrested at the Grammys. Somebody was saying he hit somebody in the crowd. I don't know for sure. Weird. May the rate cuts be with you. The Powell comments already happened, right? Just wanted to confirm. Yeah, so the Powell comments happened yesterday. We're just kind of recapping them today in today's stream. So the Powell comments happened yesterday. Powell comments happened on a CBS 60-minute interview is what happened there. So Powell already commented. We got the opening bell in 10 minutes, and then we've got ISM PMI data, services PMI data come out at 9:45 and 10. All right, guys. So again, we do have Tyson Foods pull it back. Luckily, we took some profit in that. The Q's starting to rip up a little bit. If we look at nvda here on the left side, and then we look at Apple. Again, Apple's starting to rip up this morning as well. This is helping the market go up. So look at Apple churn up, and that's good for me too, because I'm in Apple right now. Again, we got Palantir earnings this evening here. Palantir earnings this evening. Yeah, dude, Palantir, big company. We got Palantir fourth quarter earnings today. We'll stream the entire thing live. Should be fun. We got a lot of Fed speakers this week speaking. John, do you think it's going to be a red day? Dude, I have no idea. It's Killer Mike is his name. You don't know Killer Mike? He did some good stuff. I like Killer Mike, actually. I think he's very reasonable, very balanced, dude. Now, bro, Daphne, they have been. It's been like that for years. You got Lil Boosie, Lil Wayne, Young Buck. Like, you got a lot of rappers. It's been like that for the last 20 plus years. That's just kind of what it is, you know. Yeah, RTJ. Nah, I'm old now. I grew up with Biggie and Tupac. I like Biggie and Tupac. You know? Hit 'em Up, one of the best comeback rap songs. One of the biggest insulting rap songs ever. Dr. Dre, yeah, The Chronic was the album that I remember came out. You had, Forgot About Dre. You had a bunch of, oh, dude, what was the songs on Chronic? It's been so long, dude. I remember what the CD looks like still. Nothing But a G Thing. You had a bunch of them. Or maybe I'm talking about The Chronic 2 is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, Chronic 2 is the one I'm actually thinking of. Still Dre, still DRE, you know. That was kind of like my generation. Look at Apple pull it back, though. Apple at 187.40s. Yeah, you should be able to use TradingView, Davey, but I would reach out to them, brother, and make sure. Yeah, Master P too, bro. I met Master P. It's a funny story, actually. I met Master P. Basically, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you know, so like that's kind of like where a lot of these guys are from. Not all of them. Master P's from New Orleans, along with Wayne, but I'm from Baton Rouge, so like right now the artists from Baton Rouge are like NBA Youngboy, but when I grew up, it was like Boosie and Webby were like the two main ones, you know. Kevin Gates, you know, another good one, Kevin Gates. But anyways, when I was in middle school, right, my friend and I went to we had this really well-off friend of mine that lived in the Baton Rouge Country Club, right? And at the time, I believe Mystical and Master P lived in the BR Country Club. And so we went trick-or-treating there when I was like 10, or I must have been like 11 or 12, right? We were a little old for it, but like we wanted candy, and like the BR Country Club had people, like wealthy people that would give you really good candy, right? So we would go to the Baton Rouge Country Club. We would go to this girl's house that he knew to trick-or-treat one year. And we ended up going by, I think it was Master P. It was either Master P or Mystical. I'm pretty sure it was Master P, though. And so we went to his house, and we knocked on the door. And we were like, yo, trick or treat. And he was throwing a party there. He had, like, girls there and, like, a bunch of people there. And he was not ready for trick-or-treaters. So we're like, trick or treat. And he was like, oh, no. You know, and he was unprepared. But he was actually super nice about it. And he was like, hey, hold on one second. And he closed the door, and he came back, and I think he gave us like CDs and t-shirts. He didn't have any candy. He wasn't prepared for candy, but he was really cool about it. He gave us like CDs and t-shirts, and we took our t-shirts and CDs and went about our way, as you do, you know. Mike Jones. I bet Mike Jones as well. I used to bartend at the Marriott in downtown Houston, or not downtown Houston, the Marriott by the airport Marriott. I used to bartend at, and Mike Jones came in one day. This was like right when my wife was pregnant with my son. Man, look at Apple rip up here. Apple up to 188.20s. Apple making some moves up there at 188.20s, almost 188.30s. We got 2 minutes left. Apple ripping up ahead of the open, dragging the queue up. We got NVIDIA on the left side here. NVIDIA on the left side. But no, so Mike Jones comes in, and like the girl at the receptionist stand, like, you know, her and I would always kind of hang out or whatever, and she was like, hey, look at that guy over there. And I was like, oh, that's Mike Jones. He was skinny. He wasn't as, like, you know, he used to be a little chubby. He was skinny. He had big, thick glasses on. But it was freaking Mike Jones, right? She looked the name up in the system, and it was, like, under some Asian name. But she told me it was probably an alias. And so we were like, hey, that's Mike Jones. But I couldn't, like, pull a camera out and be like, yo, Mike Jones, let me get a picture or whatever. So I just had to serve them. Him and a very pretty girl, came up to the bar and asked for, I think, shots of Patron is what they asked for. And so I made them their shots of Patron, and I kind of hooked it up a little bit, gave them some extra. And they tipped me really well. They tipped me a $20 bill. Mike didn't really say much, though. But the girl he was with did the whole deal or whatever. And either way, they were super chill and really nice. All right, guys, here's the opening bell. We got the opening bell in 20 seconds. (281-330-8004). You know, we got 10 minutes, guys, or 10 seconds here, team. Let's see what happens. Yeah, young people don't know about Mike Jones nowadays. Anyways, here's the opening bell. There's the opening bell. Ding, ding, ding. There's the opening bell. Apple is the one that's been pushing up ahead of the opening. So we're at 187.60s. Look at the queue on the right side pushing up. Look at NVIDIA at 682.20s. We are going to trade some futures today, team. So we are going to trade futures. Tesla is what's looking weak this morning. Tesla falling this morning. Tyson Foods popping up right now, making other big moves up to almost 61s. Tesla opened weak. at 184s. Nvidia dumping down to 678s. See, what we could be primed to do is have a really big correction at the opening bell. We'll see. All right, we're at 61.20s for Tyson Foods. I don't know what I want to do with that. I'll probably just sit on it. I've already taken profit. It's up a lot. All right, we got an initial pullback here. We're at 187s here, 187s. Yeah, I know James Corden. All right, we're at 61.20, 61.20s. Nvidia at 678. Tesla breaking down, just cracked lows of pre-market. Let's see if we stabilize and move back up. We're going to get ready to trade futures. But before we trade futures, guys, remember, I am terrible at this stuff and have no idea what I'm talking about. Also, just understand this fun fact before we delve into futures trading this morning. All right, understand this fun fact before we delve into futures trading this morning. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about everything. Apple's still doing a red to green move. Let's see what Nvidia does, though. Nvidia should affect the market. Apple's more heavily weighted than Nvidia is, but Nvidia has such a big influence over everything. And look at everything pulling a red to green move this morning. Tesla's still looking weak, though. Tesla's still looking pretty weak. Make sure we're connected here. We're going to get ready to trade some futures. I'm running a little late this morning. Again, look at Nvidia at 683s. Look at Apple up there as well. Q up there, 429s. All right, so we are in here. Trying to make sure we got the right account. Man, look at Nvidia, guys. Nvidia just broke lifetime highs, I think. Yeah, Nvidia just broke lifetime highs. 686 something is the new lifetime high for Nvidia. Yeah, look, 686.20. Nvidia started to break highs. Let's see if it holds. Wow. Hey, let's get ready to trade, I guess. Get Nvidia up to 686. Getting ready to try to break highs here. Nvidia up to almost 685, 80s, 686s. 686.95 is the new lifetime high for Nvidia. 686. All right, Nvidia just broke lifetime highs here on this left side. Look at Nvidia break lifetime highs, 687.60s, the new lifetime highs. Apple trying to make a move up, Q trying to make a move up. The only weak one really is Tesla right now in blue chips that I can see. I'm sure there's others. Amazon didn't open up the worst, or didn't open up the greatest. Broke lifetime highs again, almost up to 690s right now for Nvidia. What a crazy day, team. This is weird. Yeah, I'm in ARM as well. Our ARM's popping up too. That's nice. Delta looking weak. Boeing looking weak this morning. Those are a couple that we're still in. Nvidia propped up. Amazon just cracked lows. All right, guys. Nvidia up to almost 691s right now, basically. Meta right now. Meta opened up kind of neutral. It's down a little bit, but it's not the worst. Nvidia up to almost 692s, team. Oh my gosh, man. This is crazy price action, dude. What a crazy price action, man. Yeah, so the first PMI is at 9:45. I'll change the time, but it's at 9:45. All right, guys, we're gonna get ready to trade some futures here, team. All right, so we're gonna trade our funded account today, which we're gonna see if we get some good stuff. Here is the Dow. I'm gonna put the micro NASDAQ up here just to protect myself. All right, so here's the micro NASDAQ in my funded account. Let's get ready. We got to keep NVIDIA up here because NVIDIA is going absolutely nuts. It's going to be such a heavy influence in a lot of these. All right, so there's NVIDIA finally pulling back some. Here's the micro NASDAQ in my express funded account. I'm going to short this. This looks weak, but it's also kind of a risky short. All right, so we're in 2 contracts of the micro NASDAQ here. Very small trade. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Well, not yet. Well, good thing it's a small trade too. Kind of weird. I don't want to short as NVIDIA breaks lifetime highs. I don't want to risk that. We're going to cut this. Very choppy day. Yeah, NVIDIA drops earnings, I believe, on the 23rd. All right, we're going to pivot to the upside, I guess. But again, we might just be getting chopped out here. Here we go. We got 2 contracts. Playing around with our funded account this morning. All right, we just took half off there, locked it in. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more to this, I think. I see 2 big retracement candles on NVIDIA. That might be an optimistic sign. And now they're kind of coming back down. Very choppy open for the NASDAQ here, in all honesty. We might switch to something else if we get something better because this is very choppy and light. I'm going to cut this and probably just wait for the chop to stop. This is just too set flat. Meta breaking lows. I think there's going to be too much downward pressure based off of the deep extension that we've had. Is anybody else having any problems with the Top Step dashboard? I should have stayed in my short, number 1. But is anybody else having problems with the Top Step dashboard? Mine won't load to check on my accounts or anything. It's weird. All right, guys. Hey, we got 5 minutes left until PMI data. I guess I'll try to short this, but I'm kind of losing playing this data today. And if we come back up, it's just signaling really deep chop. Took half off there, locked something in at least. Let me see what my P&L actually looks like. I can't be down too much. Yeah, we're down $40, so could be worse. I'm gonna add to this. This looks weak. And just kidding. Luckily, this is micro contracts. We're waiting for the opening chop to play out first here. We do have Peloton earnings this evening, but it shouldn't really give a big influence to anything yet. I'm having issues. Yeah, I can't get my Top Step dashboard to load. NVIDIA bouncing directly off of that volume weighted average price. Look at that level. Up to almost 600. Everything else is kind of taking a dive, though. There we go. All right, we just took half off there, locked in some profit. We'll add a little bit if we get a pop back up. We might not be able to have that chance. All right, we added a little bit to this. See if we get that rejection. This looks weak, right? All right, we took half off again, protected the trade. We'll get out there. All right, so we're flat on the day now. Same problem. Okay, so it's not just me. Yeah, my top step dashboard is struggling. A lot of stuff is dumping down here, except for nvda. nvda is still very strong, but the rest of the blue chips are down, which, you know, so you can kind of see. All right, Apple right at that previous closing price, the red to green level. See if we bounce here or not. nvda is still churning up here, so I might actually buy this here. It's kind of a risky trade, but again, Apple right at that previous close. I think we might get a resurgence short term. There we go. I'm just going to lock that in, take the profit here. Again, we were correct about our little short-term prediction. We're going to get out before it starts flushing down. The reason I'm kind of long biased right here is because look at nvda. nvda is right at that top, so I'm going to start adding to this. Or nvda is right at the highs here, right? So I'm going to add to this again right at the low of the day on the upside. Try to catch a falling knife, so it's kind of a dangerous strategy. I don't recommend doing this with regular contracts, but we're in micro contracts on our funded account here, so we can just play with it. And if we lose, it's pretty much small. I want to see if we form a bottom down here, though. All right, so PMI data dropping in 3 minutes. We're going to have to cut this, though. So I'm hoping it retraces quickly, and it did. Again, we got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes until PMI data goes live. The price action certainly looks weak, but I have a couple minutes. I'm going to have to cut this before the data comes out. The market might be waiting for this data to go live first. Again, Apple right at that previous close. nvidia's falling back down now, though. I'm gonna have to cut this and just get out. So we're pretty much down like 40 bucks. It's small. We gotta wait for PMI data to drop in about 2 minutes, though. Yeah, I still think it probably would have worked, Sam, but it's the risk of the data influencing this too much is too high. Right, so I think the data comes out in 1 minute and 10 seconds. I just think that risk is a little bit too high. Oh, man, like clockwork, guys. Hey, bud, I love you, dude. Have a good day, buddy.
Okay.
All right, have a great day, bro. Love you, dude. All right. All right. Again, we got 5 minutes. Or we got 50 seconds. Here, baby, I got economic data coming out like right now. All right.
I'm just gonna tell you I'm gonna drop track off and,
All right. All right.
and we'll run some errands and then I'll be back. Maddie's home. I gotta pick up her antibiotic.
Okay. All right, love you. All right, guys, here's 20 seconds here, team. 20 seconds before the economic report goes live. All right, 10 seconds here, team. 10 seconds. And, all right, guys, PMI data. All right, 52.5. 52.5 is what the services PMI data showed up as. 52.5. Now, this is the smaller release. All right, so again, this is the smaller data release, but 52.5 is what it showed up as versus 52.9 expected. So again, hit the subscribe button, guys. We cover this data very quickly relative to everybody else, team. So subscribe if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you haven't yet. We're gonna throw this in sub-only mode. Again, we got the main data report. So we have ISM, or we have regular PMI data at 9:45, and then we have ISM PMI data at 10. So we are in sub-only mode. So everybody announce yourself, show us your sub. We appreciate the love. Thanks so much. $52.5 means it's slightly lower than expected here. We'll put this data up on screen so you can understand it. 52.5, slightly lower than expected. They expected 52.9. It came in at 52.5. So a slightly weaker manufacturing sector than initially anticipated is what this data means. 52.5 versus 52.9. So again, slightly weaker manufacturing sector. But again, this isn't the main one. The main one's actually in 13 minutes. So stick around, guys. The main one's in 13 minutes. Market's very flat, very sideways here. Yeah, ARM is ripping up. I'm in ARM right now, too. We'd love to see it. Tesla down to 180s again. nvda up to 689s. ARM up to 73s. So bad news is good news. Bad news has been good news, brother. That's kind of how the market's been for the last year, I would say. Maybe less. But the market's been good news is bad, bad news is good. You know, the market fears jobs regardless of what the Fed says, you know. ARM is breaking out. Amazon pushing down. NVIDIA is still pushing up, though. Look at NVIDIA back up to 690, and it looks like a bull flag. Apple all the way down at that previous closing price. So I should have caught that falling knife. Remember, I wanted to catch the falling knife down here, and I thought, and even after I cut it, remember, I told you guys I thought it would probably work, and it would have absolutely worked, mostly because NVIDIA, Apple are all rebounding at that previous closing price, right? So that's kind of what I was betting on, but again, it's all good. All right, ARM at 73, Amazon at 168.80s. All right, so now we're right back down to the lows. Look at Apple bouncing, but NVIDIA is dipping down. Tesla's also cracking lows right now. So Tesla's cracking lows. Yeah, no, all good, Sam. It's all good, bro. Again, you didn't influence me either way on that one. I thought it might work. And again, I got out because economic data was dropping. And look, maybe this proves that it wouldn't have worked. Look at this huge downward pressure coming through. It could be from Amazon and Tesla both breaking lows. Okay, so the Bank of England just announced that they are selling $670 million 7 to 20-year gilt, 2.29x. All right, so U.S. officials state that the U.S. allies tend to be quickly reassured when they understand that the... All right, so again, we're catching up on some stuff here, but... All right, so cracking down, breaking lows here, team. Again, look at Apple, though. Apple's starting to bounce back. Weird. So let me catch. Okay, I see. All right, so now we're finally bouncing up a little bit. Again, very choppy day. I'm kind of sitting tight. All right, guys, nvda at 687.30s here, 687.30s. Amazon at 168, nvidia at 687s, Tesla at 182s. So we're getting a little bit of a bounce back, team. We do have, again, remember, we have big data dropping in about 7.5 minutes. Smoke coming out the keyboard. Am I typing that fast, bro? I don't think I'm typing that quick. Maybe I am. Again, Tesla at 182s. Yeah, Tesla breaking lows. All right, so markets starting to bounce back a little bit too. Mostly in nvidia bouncing at the volume weighted average price. Very choppy day. I would be careful. Nvidia completely sideways. Look at the chop. Nvidia moved up at the open, but it's been sideways since then. Apple's bouncing a little bit too. But very flat, neutral day, I would say, team. And again, we have 7 minutes left until services PMI data. 7 minutes. Yeah, Snapchat drops earnings tomorrow. Where's AMD at on these days? So what's weird, guys, is like, look at AMD here. So here's AMD on the bottom right. AMD is a kind of a dumpster fire today. Look how big this thing has dropped since the opening bell. Like, look at AMD. It's down to 176. It's not really that bad, actually, but it's definitely not moving like NVIDIA is. A lot of the time, these are correlated because they're both microchip stocks. But AMD is falling quick versus some of these other ones. I don't know about ISM data today, man. Services PMI. I really don't know what that's going to be today. Again, expectation for the ISM data, which is the more important one. Again, ISM services expected at 52. All right, 52. This past one came in slightly lower, but we have about 6 minutes until this data releases here. Five minutes or so here, team. And again, hit that live button next to the play button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, team. We do this live every weekday right here on YouTube. We don't sell a course. We don't sell a service. We don't claim to be experts. We don't act like gurus. Everything we put out there is free. We don't charge a penny for any of it. And so if you haven't already subscribed, team, we appreciate the love. And again, I'm kind of hesitant to trade. Do y'all think Powell's comments were bullish or bearish? All right, so look at the NASDAQ start to bounce. AMD bouncing back up. NVIDIA testing highs again. So NVIDIA all the way up to 692.50s. Look at NVIDIA start to break right now. So it's getting closer to the highs of the day. Just broke highs of the day, lifetime highs for NVIDIA. Got up to 694.40, almost 695. Craziness. So NVIDIA making moves. We got 3.5 minutes, team. 3.5 minutes before services PMI data drops. And NVIDIA, again, almost at 695s. AMD starting to bounce back as well. Tesla's still pretty low. Amazon is bouncing back a little bit, though. So Amazon is starting to move back some here. And again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. You can day trade in futures, no PDT rule. I can buy market, sell market. Very similar to day trading stocks. There's no PDT rule in futures. You can day trade short, all that good stuff. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stocks. This is the NASDAQ 100, essentially the QQQ price action. I can also day trade the S&P, essentially the SPY price action. I can day currencies, gold and silver. Patterns are very similar to blue chips, but there's no PDT rule. It limits your risk. And if you're good enough and you want to get started for a very small amount, base one's $50. If you pass the test, you get $50K in funding with a 90% split. If you make $20K once you're funded, you get to keep 90% of that. If you lose, you're only out $50. It's the best of both worlds. It limits your risk, but if you're good enough to pass it, you can get a ton of funding with a 90% split. So you're keeping most of your profit anyway. Again, they pay out millions, fund thousands of traders a year, pay out millions in actual withdrawals. They are a sponsor of mine, though. A great way to help support the channel, though, is to check them out. Limit your risk, test your skill in day trading before putting up thousands of dollars. Again, here's the link. Check it out. Here we go, guys. We got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I think maybe bearish slightly, given that there are X number of rate cuts expected, and then he said not until June. I think he said we're certainly not going to do it in March, most likely, at least. He said they're most likely not going to do it in March unless we get like a big data change. What he said is that if we had really strong jobs and like really strong economic reports basically leading into March, then he might consider a rate cut in March, but it's still it's definitely not the base case, as I think verbatim what he said. NVIDIA still breaking highs up to 695s. The economic report drops in a minute and a half, team. 1.5 minutes here. Where's Palantir? Palantir has earnings today. Palantir all the way down to $17. Off topic, but this beat is hard. Yeah, I do like this one. Regardless, they were sound and resilient. All right, team A. 1 minute, team. 1 minute. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. I appreciate it. Here we go. About 1 minute left, team. 1 minute left. I've been kind of slow to day trade today just because I haven't really wanted to trade this chop. Yeah, all good, Blaze. All right, guys. Hey, we got 40 seconds. NVIDIA at 695s. We have services PMI data dropping in 30 seconds, team. 30 seconds. All right, guys, here we go. 10 seconds. Let's do this. ISM data expected at 52. Let's see what it shows. 52. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's see what the data shows up as. All right, data just showed up at 53.4. 53.4. Stronger services sector, more economic growth than expected. 53.4 versus 52 expected. More economic strength than expected. More jobs, stronger services sector, and the market is dropping down. Again, 53.4 versus 52 expected. Subscribe, guys. We covered this data very quick and explain it very fast. Again, stronger economic forecast than expected for services. That's what's going on here. Services sector stronger than expected. 53.4 versus 52. ISM services 53.4 versus 52. Initially a downward response here. So initially a negative response in this. All right, guys. Here, their services, 53.4 versus 52. Initially a negative response. Market's dropping a little bit here because of this. And again, this signals more jobs, strength in jobs, stronger services sector, more economic growth is what this signals. And the market, as you've seen in the last weeks, does not necessarily like that because, again, that signals more inflation problems, right? Again, this might also signal earlier rate cuts based off of what Powell said yesterday if the market doesn't like this report. But again, what do you guys think about this report? Is it good or bad? It does signal stronger services sector than initially expected. And again, that might mean an earlier rate cut based off of what Powell said yesterday. But again, this is not it. We're going to have to look at payroll numbers, unemployment, CPI, PCE data, all that good stuff dropping here, team. But again, look at the market dump and break lows at the market hours here. A little bit too early for me to take a position here. But yeah, let's see what happens. Again, stronger services sector than expected. Why would it mean earlier rate cuts? Powell said nothing about that. It doesn't necessarily mean earlier rate cuts. What it means is that the economy is a little bit stronger in the services sector than expected. Okay, that's what it means. What Powell said was that a rate cut in March was not the base case, and an earlier rate cut was not the base case. They would probably have a sustained pause unless we had stronger labor markets, i.e. stronger services PMI, more payroll numbers, stuff like that, right? That is what Powell said. Lower inflation. All that good stuff would signal earlier rate cuts. And so again, I'm not saying this is the end-all be-all of that, but this is certainly a contributing factor to potential rate cuts. All right, guys, now we're dropping here. All right, you're just disagreeing just to disagree, marketers, because you disagree, The top 3 disagreeing guys ever. Marketeers, are you really going to make me pull it up? All right, let me see. All right, give me a second. You might actually be right. I'm sorry. Did I have it backwards? What did I say? Hold on. You might actually be correct, sir. So my apologies if you are. I think I might have had it backwards. Sorry, we cover a lot of this data, so we could have had it backwards, but let me make sure. All right, guys, market's dumping down, testing lows. I might short this if we get a nice, stronger pop here. All right, so we got a strong little pop. We're going to wait to add to this if it bounces up a little bit more. I don't really like shorting right at the low of the day. I think this is risky, but we can take one position and then maybe add to it if it bounces higher is the plan, I think. All right, so look, we got a nice little breakdown. We're going to go ahead and cut that. So we just scalped about, a small amount. All right, so Fed's Goolsbee says a March interest rate cut is unlikely. They reiterated that the economy has been quiet, strong. Yes? What?
Do you have my headphones?
No. I don't think so. No.
Are these good?
You can use them, just don't lose them. Bars.
Love you. Have a good day. All right, so Apple's starting to move up here. We're going to short this little pop too. No, yeah, you're actually right. I had it backwards. So what I meant to say, okay, this is my point, right? Okay, so if inflation is under control, the Fed's more likely to cut rates, right? And a stronger labor market is the opposite of that. All right, I don't know what I initially said. And again, I might have had it backwards. The point is, okay, again, I'll explain to people at home. The stronger the labor market is, the worse inflation is, the less likely they're going to cut rates. The worse inflation is, again, the less likely they're going to cut rates. The better inflation is, the more likely they're going to cut rates, right? And so the less economic activity we get, the higher chance that we're going to cut rates earlier. Okay, so this data actually maybe signals that we're less likely to cut rates, regardless of what I said before. This data signals that we're less likely to cut rates earlier. Why? Because it signals a more growing, like a stronger economy. All right, whatever I said before, that's not what I meant. You guys know I understand the nuance of restrictive, hawkish versus dovish stances. All right, so maybe I might have had it backwards. And again, I think you're actually correct, marketeers. Sorry, brother. Anyways, we're going to short this here. Yeah, for sure. No, that's what I said. I very quickly realized that I had it backwards and you were actually correct, marketeer. So all good, brother. My fault. I always try to admit when I'm wrong. That's certainly, again, if I recognize immediately that I had it backwards, I will certainly say, hey, you're right, I'm wrong. You're smart, I'm dumb. You're big, I'm little. You're good looking and I can't remember the Billy Madison quote, but all right, guys. Hey, we're going to cut half of this here. We're going to cut the other half here. Locking it in. All right, we are now green on the day trading futures. We are now green on the day trading futures. Oh, is it from Matilda? No, you're thinking of... I understand the Matilda quote you're thinking of. Oh, no, maybe I think it's Happy Gilmore. I think it's Happy Gilmore is the quote I'm thinking of with Chubbs. Yeah, it's the quote goes, I'm stupid, you're smart. I was wrong, you were right. You're the best, I'm the worst. You're very good looking, I'm not very attractive, is the quote. That's the quote. All right, so we got a small profit of the day trading futures. This is the NASDAQ, the QQQ price action that we're currently day trading here in futures. You can see I can enter, I can buy market, sell market, all that good stuff. No PDT rule, I can day trade short this. We're going to add a little bit to our short position here. But again, you can see I can day trade futures on Top Step, no PDT rule. This is in my funded account on Top Step, my 50K funded account. So we are day trading this. I could add to it because we have very small position in micros. The goal is to build up a cushion first, though. So the goal is to build up a cushion first. Apple just ripped up, broke highs. Where's Tesla at, though? Tesla looking really weak at 181s. Palantir also technically red on the day. I'm looking to add a little bit more to this short position, though, in the NASDAQ here. Although we've been very flat on the day. And I do see Apple looking very strong. All right, so we got 2 contracts now. We'll see if this helps. We're slightly green on the day, though. We've been kind of flat. It's been choppy until the PMI data dropped, and now we're getting some volatility here. All right, so we just took half off there, locked in a little bit more cushion. I'd love to catch a little bit more of a breakdown here. All right, so we just added a little bit more. We got a small cushion on the day, and if we lose this, we're all good. I see NVIDIA under the VWAP, though, so that looks optimistic. Palantir's hurting me. It's not Matilda, guys. I understand the quote y'all are looking for in Matilda. Like, culture yourself. Look at Happy Gilmore, all right? It's when Happy Gilmore didn't want to listen to Chubbs and he had to go back and ask for Chubbs' help in golf. It's a Happy Gilmore quote. There's a very similar one in Matilda from the dad in Matilda being mean to Matilda, but it's not the same quote, guys. All right. Look, all I'm saying is culture yourselves, okay? Yeah, it's all good, D. Again, ultimately what you want to know is economic strength signals less likely rate cuts because it means more inflation, right? The more people that spend, the higher inflation gets, the less likely the Fed is to cut rates. The less people that spend, the slower the economy rolls, the more likely the Fed is to cut rates to avoid a recession, as well as inflation risks are less pronounced as the economy slows because less people are spending and prices drop, is the nuance and the logic of it, just to give you guys some understanding here. So I hope all that makes sense, right? Whatever I said before, I can't remember what I said. I say so much stuff on these streams. Like, we get stuff backwards sometimes, but yeah, that's what it is. Tesla breaking lows down to 180s. Yeah, that's the Matilda quote for sure, Ace. All right, so we're green again in this one. All right, we took half off there, locked it in. I'd like to see an even larger drop here. I'm going to short a little bit more. There we go. All right, took half off there, locked that in. Building up a cushion so I can take a swing with the regular NASDAQ here. All right, took out another cushion, locked it in. And I'm just going to get out there because I can. All right, so we are now up, we're now up over 50 on the day trading micros. Very small into all this. We should have traded regulars, but look at Apple move. NVIDIA's starting to look hella weak right now, too. That's something to consider with all this stuff as well. All right, look at the big breakdown here. So we will try to trade regular NASDAQ futures, scalp some, bring some profit on the day if we can. All right, so we just made $70 real quick, scalping that quick short-term weakness. So we are now up a cool 100 and something on the day. In futures, we are up 120 in the day. You can see how much faster the regular NASDAQ moves. Well, we were going to take that, but I guess we'll just wait. 10-year yield. My other sponsor of the day, guys, my other sponsor is a company called Chart Prime, trading view service. You can use in stocks, Forex, futures, whatever you want to use it on. You can use it on any time frame, anything with a symbol on TradingView, you can use it on. And it's genuinely impressive, Like prior to Chart Prime, I was always kind of like against services like this. But if you look at like the accuracy of some of this stuff, like let's track it. Like look, I'm gonna go back. This is a 5-minute chart on Chart Prime, a 5-minute chart, and this is the NASDAQ 100, right? What I've been day trading. So again, each candle here represents 5 minutes. All right, so look at the strong red signal coming in there. Beautiful breakdowns afterwards. This one, the signal came in here, and we actually got to move up. But even if you want to call that one wrong, that's okay. Let's back test it. I can't fake it, and these do not repaint from my understanding. Although I would check with them, but I'm pretty sure they don't repaint. This sell signal came in, nice little breakdowns. Look at the strong buy signal here, beautiful rip up. Strong sell signal came in right around here, I guess, beautiful breakdown. Strong buy signal here, beautiful rip up. All right, so I think all of those worked except for one. All right, one. Look at the sell signal showing up here. And then look at the candlesticks change colors afterwards. Beautiful downward trend afterwards. Strong buy signal, nice little rip. Sell signal here, this one probably didn't work. So we'll call that one didn't work. So that's 2. All right, so that's 2. Let's keep going here. All right, buy signal down here, beautiful bounce. Sell signal down here, beautiful drop. Buy signal here, nice little bounce. This sell signal probably didn't work, so that's 3. This one definitely worked. So that's 3. Sell signal there worked. This one definitely worked. That's 4. All right, so this one definitely worked. All right, so let's see how many worked versus didn't work. So that was 4 that didn't work. All right, 4 out of all of these candles. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 4 out of 17. If you want to know the percentage, let me calculate that. That is a 76.5% accuracy rate. 76.5%. I can't fake that. That's me back testing honestly about how much they worked versus didn't work. About 76%. I can't fake that. Again, you can use these on any time frame. I can put an hourly chart up and try it on an hourly time frame and see if it works. And it's not always going to work in any specific thing. Like, you're going to have to figure out times when it's working, times when it doesn't work. Again, we can back test this right now to see if it's working right now. Strong buy signal on an hourly chart worked. This one didn't work. So that's 1. This one worked. That's 2. This one obviously worked. That's 3. This one obviously worked. That's 4. This one obviously worked. This strong signal, I think it worked. Sell signal there. This got to break down. Strong signal there. Got to bounce. Sell signal there. Got to drop. All right. So even out just the ones on screen, I only count one that didn't work. You could maybe say this strong one didn't work. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see 1 or 2 of these not working. 1 or 2. So let's call it 80%. You can even say 70% if you're lucky. Or if you want to be super careful, you can say 70% accuracy here. Still 70%, incredibly solid. And I can't guarantee you're going to profit. Nobody can. This is a company called Chart Prime. It's a trading view service that you can use in stocks, Forex, futures, anything with a symbol on trading view. Again, I can't guarantee any of them are going to work. Always check with them. Try it out yourself. Again, you can try it out for 40% off. Here's the link. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased in their favor, of course, because they pay me money. Naturally, I'm biased. You can also try out the link right there if you want to check it out. 40% off discount right there. Check it out. And again, we're up on our funded account of the day a small amount, $120 or so, maybe less. And so I'll take that. That's green. Markets are looking rough today. Breaking all the way down. It was time for a pullback in a lot of these stocks. Tesla down, Amazon down. Today we have Palantir earnings after the closing bell. We'll see what we get, guys. I'll see you guys later. If you want to check out any of my sponsors, link is in the description. I love you all. Y'all be safe. Again, check out Top Step if you want to day trade futures with me. Check out Chart Prime if you want trading view stuff. And I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Again, we'll probably be back. I think we're going to stream Palantir earnings this evening. So we will be back then. Be ready. Love you all. Y'all be good. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Y'all be safe.